Okay. Think we've got everything going now. Got the mic turned up this time so that I'm not going to be nearly as quiet. I know in the last video it was like super quiet, so got audio working better this time. Got pinned comment up top telling everyone how to vote. Wait for some people to join, then we're going to do our first test poll to make sure it all works. Making sure things work. Let's get the loading screen off of here. Pull up 6A interactive season. Ah, beautiful. Even added in every single score from last season if the teams played, either regular season or playoffs. Like, what do we got? For example, over here you got Rosemount played Centennial last year. Centennial won 21-7. Then if I go down to Rosemount, it says they lost 7-21 at home versus Centennial. And then obviously if it says NA below a team, like for example, Blaine versus Lakeville North, they did not play last year, so it just has an NA next to it. Yeesh. Looking at some of these scores are kind of lopsided. Like Blaine beat Coon Rapids 55-9 last year. 0-56. That's pretty tough. 9-55, 7-49. Some rough games last year. I know Lakeville South, we gave up quite a bit of points. Lost to North, giving up 35. Yeah, I mean, gave up 35 to Eagan. Sure, we beat Farmington, but never want to give up 29 points to Farmington. And that's not like a knock on Farmington. It's just, historically with the Lakeville South-Farmington rivalry, yeah, we've done a lot better, to say the least. Oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and I'll throw up the first test poll, because I do want to get that going. So it should appear, we're going to uncover it really fast, and then it should appear on top. This is just a test. I put the instructions. Farmington O-line was good. That's true. Farmington O-line was solid. Okay. So, testing the poll. But you know what? I'm an idiot. Polls under tab capture. I gotta put it on top, the tab capture. There we go. So instructions for how to vote. Like if I go over to chat, I believe if I type !vote and then !YZeta. Now I just have to see if that actually shows up or not. Dude, do I have to capitalize? I'm gonna feel so stupid if I have to capitalize it. !vote, capital YZeta. Then you figure the thing's gotta show up, right? If not, I will actually cry. Vote YZeta. Let's see if that pops up. I mean, so far I'm not seeing it, which is a total bummer if that's the case. I'll just have to go by eyeball then, have everyone comment in chat who's winning each game. And then just probably do like a 30-second timer and then close it after that. That's so bizarre. I mean, that's such a bummer though. I was really hoping that that would show up live. You know what? Test another one. I'm wondering if it has to be specifically, yeah, like that with the parentheses and everything. Does not seem to like that either, even though the poll's wide open for everybody. Settings. Message, chat lines. Cancelled, poll no longer. Huh, maybe it's delayed. That's the only one that's open, though. View active poll. Boy, I would love to. Although it doesn't seem very active. And obviously it's not like anyone can click on the stream itself. That's not going to happen. Bummer. Why are polls not showing up? Team Labs. Classic IT problem solving. Not properly configured. That would probably be user error. Code, yeah, sure, whatever, custom code. That is all correct. Scenes, control audio, don't need that, don't need the custom frame rate. Can I do it through YouTube? Yeah, I guess I theoretically could. Let me see. Go over to YouTube chat. Oh, yep, that's actually where I can do it. We'll do a quick test there. YZ versus, or we'll do Andover at YZ. And then obviously I don't want yes or no. That's got to be good thinking. Andover, YZ. Alright, there we go. And then delete the excess options because we don't need that. Start the poll. There we go. And then I'll just close this off because we don't need that. And then I can end the other one. Boom. Oh, yeah, there we go. My vote for YZ went through. Let's unpin that initial one. There we go. 2 votes. And both votes pick YZ. Okay, well, I guess we'll see that in a second. But, yeah. Alright, so, YouTube poll. Test works. There we go. So, oh, and it even shows you the results in chat. We love to see that. Dang, poor Andover, though. 2-0. Alright, but yeah, that is how we will run it. Yeah, Streamlabs not a fan of poll system, but hey, we got all these picks to go through. It's a lot of fun to get through here. Tons of games. So just to lay it out, this is every single game of the 6A season, all weeks 1 through 8. And I just sorted the teams by division, not by section. Well, division/conference. It's like, for example, here's the teams that are in Section 5, but there's only 7 of them. And that's because it's just the regular teams in the Metro North. A team that's not in the Metro North, but is in Section 5, Metro Maroon, would be Coon Rapids, which, as you see, they're down here with the rest of the Maroon teams. So Eastview, Hopkins, Park. It's just labeled Park, not Park Cottage Grove. And then Roseville at the bottom. And then, kind of the nice thing about this, the way I have this built, and I did one for last season too, type W, type L. Again, I'm not necessarily making those picks, but if we go over to the side over here, you see, tallies up wins and losses for me, and then we go ahead and we seed them all by teams. The only 3 that are locked in place, if you look at the end here, Hopkins, Coon Rapids, and Eastview are the only Maroon teams in their section, kind of like I was talking about on this, I think it was the second Minnesota High School Football Network podcast with Caleb. Because they're the only Maroon teams in their sections, they're all locked into 8 seeds. Like, even if Hopkins like ran the table and went 8-0, because they're a Maroon team, they would still be put in an 8th seed in any of the playoff brackets, which is kind of wild to me. But yeah, so if you look at the seedings down here at the bottom, you can see that they're pretty much locked into those positions. Eastview is an 8, Coon Rapids is an 8, Hopkins is an 8, and then Park, Cottage Grove, and Roseville are 7 and 8. It depends on, I guess, most likely which one wins the head-to-head. But the better of the 2 will be a 7th seed, and the one that struggles a little bit more will be the 8th seed. So with that being said, how this is going to work, we're basically just going to go through every game. Instead of doing one team all the way across, like just picking all of Andover's games, we're going to go week by week. So week 1 will be Andover at YZ. We'll do a poll for that, and then I'll type whatever W there or whichever, and then for YZ, and we'll just go through all the games for week 1. That way everyone can visualize, like, hey, here's how all the teams are doing. Because if I did it like all in a row like this, then suppose I got to Blaine, I would already have Blaine's week 8 like game figured out, and then it would make no sense because then chat would only be picking like 6 games. And by the time we got to the 32nd team, we wouldn't even have any games left to pick. So I think going by week is just, it makes way more sense. So that being said, let's get the first poll going. So the initial poll that we just did there was the test poll of YZ versus Andover, and I put a random vote in. I don't even remember who I clicked on, but that was just a test. So now we're going to do the actual first poll of our first game, which is Andover at Wayzata. Now, as you see from Andover, N/A is underneath every single one of their games because they've not played any of these teams. I want to say the last time they played any of these... Rogers, they may have played a few years ago, but like Champlin Park, Anoka, Centennial, Blaine, ACTUAL, they haven't seen these teams since, I want to say 2016 or 17 was the last... 2016, because that would have been the end of a cycle, was the last time they played any of those teams. So, yeah, that's just kind of wild, but I'm hyped for it. So let's get the first poll going right now. So we're going to say Andover at Wayzata. And if anyone wants any, or has any questions about like what offense or defense teams run to help you kind of gauge which one you think might be better in the matchup, obviously feel free to ask about that in the chat. Like, for example, Wayzata's more 11 and 12 personnel, RPO offense, inside zone, outside zone, GH counter, 3-4 defense. Andover has what I call the Star Wars offense. They are like all 10 and 11 personnel, light speed up to the ball, snapping the ball within 10 to 15 seconds of the last play, spread offense. And, you know, surprisingly, they actually like to run the ball. I was watching the, I want to say it was their week 1 matchup against St. Thomas from last season. And they barely threw the ball downfield. They had a few like play action passes they got off, but it was a lot of bubbles, a lot of running back screens, and a lot of quarterback runs too. That quarterback's a bit of a stud athlete. I think he's going to be back next year as a senior. So I'm really hyped for that. They're also a 3-4 defense. I think their defense gives up a decent amount of points. We will see, though. And then, obviously, it's Andover at Wayzata. Wayzata being the home team, and Andover's first 6A game in a while. So we'll go ahead and we'll start the poll. And we're going to put, we'll say third, and we'll go 45 seconds on the clock. Get that going. So make sure to get your votes in. Oh, Wayzata's taking the lead thus far. Oh, boy. We have 1 vote for Wayzata. Is Andover going to pop in at all? Maybe, maybe not. We will see. Oh, Andover's got 2 votes now. Oh, taking over. We got 20 seconds left for Andover at Wayzata. So far, Andover just jumped the lead. Looks like their Star Wars offense is kind of taking precedent over that slow grinding RPO of Wayzata's. Then again, they are going to be in a stadium of the biggest high school, second biggest high school. I don't remember who's bigger now, Minnetonka or Wayzata. They kind of flip-flop, but it's obviously those two. That's the clock. Boom. Made me jump a little bit there. I totally forgot to have the timer on. So, the result. Andover wins 66% of the votes. So, result of week 1. Andover starts 1-0, and Wayzata starts 0-1. So, non-section game. Get that kicked off. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Anoka at Eden Prairie. So it's going to be played at EP. Obviously, EP was kind of down last season, only 5-3, playing that tough Metro West. Whereas Anoka had kind of a breakout season. They upended both Lakevilles in the state tournament and then made their way all the way to the state semi, where they gave a pretty solid game against Minnetonka. Of course, Caleb Francois kind of ran all over them, but Caleb Francois kind of ran over everybody last year. Both team, Eden Prairie recently, I think 2 years ago, switched to a 3-4 defense. Anoka always runs 3-4 defense. Well, that's the other thing. No more Podani, you're right. No more Peyton Podani, Trey Borchers, Zach Welch. Like, the heart and soul, that's, like, amazing senior class, all gone. They've graduated. So I have no idea what Anoka's going to look like. Obviously, they still have, Bo Wasterick, head coach, OC. Man knows how to call plays, knows how to dissect an offense. But then again, EP still has Mike Grant. Now, Eden Prairie has had a lot of coaching turnover. New DC, I think their D-line coach also retired. And remember, these are guys that have been coaching together for like almost 30 years. And now you're changing that up. So I don't know. This is a tough one, but we're going to go live. Clock starts now. Anoka at Eden Prairie. Week 1 matchup. Who are we going to vote for? Oh, we got a vote for EP. Oh, multiple votes for EP. Oh, this one might be a blowout. I don't know if anyone's going to pick for Anoka. Like we said, Anoka's losing a lot of their talent. Eden Prairie, when you have over 3,000 kids in your school, you can just kind of reload talent at that point. Oh boy, we got 10 seconds left. Is anyone going to pick Anoka? Anybody at all? Whoa, it doesn't look like it. 2, 1, no. Nobody voted Anoka. Poll closes. Yeesh. All right, so Anoka takes that L, falls to 0-1. We go down to the good old Eden Prairie Eagles. They pick up a dub at home to open the season. All right. So this next game was my when Caleb and I did our picks for our like most anticipated or most exciting games. You're cute. Yeah, I don't think so. So the most anticipated game I picked for week 1 was Blaine at Lakeville North. Both are run-heavy teams, but both do it out of the most opposite formations. Lakeville North is a lot of I formation or kind of like a sort of wing slot, a lot of 13 or 22 personnel. They run the ball 80% of the time, and then they just set up play action off of that. But they did lose a lot of kids. Reese Hunt, Sebastian Fries, Riley Grossman, I think Blake Krause's gone too, Aiden Forsgren, right? I always mix them up with the Shakopee quarterbacks. They're both 4s. Aiden Forsgren goes to North. Judah Forsberg is a Shakopee quarterback. All right, there we go. But then, obviously, Blaine losing Sam Shaughnessy, but you're the third biggest. A lot of linemen returning. That's right. Carter Crawford is still there. I forget who their big nose. I think their big nose guard was a senior. That dude was a stud. They're gonna have that kid from Georgia playing center. That's gonna be a blast. A lot of meat right there in the middle. But I mean, Lakeville North always has big kids, man. Even if you go to the Lakeville Lifetime Fitness, there's all these like It's almost like Prior Lake. Where do they get all these big kids from? Who knows? Language, please. We don't use bad words here. That will result in a ban. Roman Johnson. Yep, that's another one for North. Like I said, man, North and Prior Lake just have big kids. Another interesting thing to note is that it's at Blaine. So, like I said, Blaine spread offense, a lot of 10 and 11 personnel, but they don't pass the ball that much. They'll do it downfield, but it's set up off of their jet sweeps, off of their quarterback leads. I think they do some GH counter, but they really like stretch, inside zone read. A lot of your typical spread offense. Kind of like what a lot of the teams out east run, minus Forest Lake. But and remember, this is Lakeville North. Blaine's new QB is oh, that's right. I remember. You would have played against him when he was, he would have been a sophomore. That kid could run, man. I think there's actually YouTube footage of him playing Chanhassen from his sophomore year. That is up on YouTube somewhere. North 0-8 this season. Well, hey, if you want to make that pick, this is your chance to make those picks. I don't know that I'd necessarily agree with that pick, but, Coach, any tips on letting it... I don't even know what that means. Like pizza crust? No comment. All right, here we go. Gonna start the next poll. Tried to add another option. No. There can't be a third team that wins between Blaine and Lakeville North. All right, 45 seconds on the clock. Make sure to vote in chat. Give a click. Who do we think's winning? Blaine, Lakeville North. 40 seconds remaining. Make your picks. Oh, Lakeville North. Uh-oh. And then Blaine takes the... Oh, tied up. This might be a close one. Let's see. Still tied at 4 votes. Who's going to be the one to break it? Oh! Oh, it just keeps going back and forth. Blaine takes the lead now. Oh, boy. We got 10 seconds left. Coach Lance, the tiebreaker. Ooh, I don't know about that. Might be a conflict of interest to have a coach make picks. Especially if I did it for Lakeville South. Oh, here we go. That is it. End poll. Who's the final winner? What is the cutoff? No, bro. We have a flat tie, 50-50. All right, I guess tiebreaker. I feel like North is the more physical team, and they don't have... Oh, you know what? We're going to flip a coin. We're just going to Google coin flip. No, not Discord bot. Man, Google autofill is no sauce. Flip a coin. Flipping. We're going to say heads is Lakeville North because they're the road team. And tails is Lakeville South. Or, I'm sorry. Tails is Blaine because they're the home team. Let's see. Heads North, tails Blaine. It is heads. Lakeville North escapes with the dub. So Blaine holding that L. Lakeville North takes the dub. Starts off 1-0. Woo! Love this live stream. Thank you. All right, next pick. This is one of the ones I think the State High School League spited me on. Rosemount and Centennial. This was Centennial's only non-conference game last season. But it's kind of become a rivalry between these two. They both are very physical teams, love running the football, and obviously you've got pretty darn good coaches. You have Coach Diggins Sr. as the head coach at Centennial. His son does the defense. Coach Littlefield does the offense. Run-heavy triple option flexbone team, and then Rosemount. Rosemount's record was not indicative of how good of a team they were last year. I know they were 1-7, and obviously their only win was Eastview, who was a Maroon team. But they played Blaine tough in the playoffs, and you can never count out Coach Erdman. And Rosemount, all big school, a lot of big kids. You just can never count them out. And Rosemount is the home team. But I guess that should go noted that they don't got Coach Lance, though. Well, I guess that is true. Nobody has a Coach Lance, but I'm just a nerd. I'm nothing special. So Centennial at Rosemount. Centennial has won the last 3 matchups in the last 2 years. They don't have weapons on offense. They're going to have a lot of... It's me, white... Yeah, I'm sure. They're going to have a lot of weapons coming from a lower class. I don't think Rosemount's going to be as good this season just because they're going to be a very young team. I think a lot of those sophomores from that insane class they had are going to play up and get varsity experience, kind of like, I guess just to get them varsity playing time. And then next year and then the year after that, Rosemount's going to be absolutely just stout, especially next year. So, but as I was saying, Centennial has won the last 3 matchups. They beat Rosemount twice. You were very special to the Lakeville community. I appreciate that. Centennial has won the last 3 matchups. They beat Rosemount twice in 2023, and then they beat them in 2024 in the last game of the regular season. So, 45 seconds on the clock. Who will win? Will it be the Rosemount Irish or the visiting Centennial Cougars? Clock starts now. Cast your votes. Let's see who we got this time. 2 tough teams, 2 physical teams. Who we picking? Oh! Centennial's pulling away. Blaine Lakeville North was kind of balanced, but this time we got all the picks for Centennial. Oh, yeah, this might be a landslide. You know what? We still have 20 seconds. There could be some others that decide to come in. Thoughts on Finn Mackin? Is Finn Mackin their quarterback? I don't know if we got to play against him. I think he played up to JV when we actually clashed against Rosemount, so hard to say. But they have a lot of good kids. Very tough team over there. And that would be the end of the poll. Okay, Centennial in another blowout, so it looks like they're picking up their 4th straight win. Overrated, we're better. But we're going to have to work on some of our English there. We're not paying attention in English class. Doesn't Coach Burke teach English, or is he social? He's an English teacher, right? Oh, not making our community look good. All right, so next up, this one's kind of a weird one because it's a non-conference game, but these teams used to be in the same conference. STMA at Champlin Park. STMA had kind of an off season last year. They changed they used to be one of the best 4-3 defenses in 6A. Last year they switched to a 3-4 and they gave up a lot more points on defense. Wouldn't understand what Mr. Size. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't know who that is. So STMA versus Champlin Park. And again, Champlin Park kind of had a little bit of a down year last year. I think they were younger. They had some sophomores they started. I think their H-back and their running back were both sophomores. But that sophomore class that's going to be juniors this season, they're absolutely fantastic. They're going to have receivers. Their quarterback can actually throw. I think there's a decent chance that we see Champlin break away from their run-heavy team and actually throw the ball a little more. Still same formations, but I guess we'll see. Luke, we going to beat Rosemount senior year in the state championship. All depends on how the state bracket plays out. We'll get there once we get through all the weeks. But then, I guess, what else to talk about? Some STMA's offense. I haven't talked about that. Champlin Park also runs a 4-3 defense. They're very physical. Coach Keenan played it at Eden Prairie for Coach Grant. So, if anyone knows how to be physical, it's them. And then STMA used to be old school I formation and 22 unbalanced I, sort of similar to Lakeville North and Maple Grove, but they actually changed to more pistol spread stuff. They still do pistol I, kind of like Mounds View does, but that's few and far between. They really love outside zone, they love power, they love dive, all the classics out of kind of their I stuff. They just basically put into their spread now. I think the only difference between the two when they do their run heavy plays, STMA will not run the quarterback. He's more of a particular pocket passer. The Champlin Park did have a lot of seniors. I think Champlin's going to play a lot of juniors this season. They won't have as many seniors playing, but yeah, and they lost most of their O-line. But Champlin loves to run the football with the quarterback. Champlin always has big quarterbacks that can run, so let me just make sure I have the right options here. And it's at Champlin Park. Normally playing at STMA is a pretty big home field advantage. But here we go. And we live. 45 seconds. STMA at Champlin Park. Who do we got week 1? Make your picks in chat. Let's get the click going. Oop, we have a Champlin vote. More votes, Champlin. Oh, hopping back. STMA is making a little bit of a run for it. This might be a closer one. Who's going to run away with it? 20 seconds left. It looks like Champlin still has a little bit of a lead. Can we get some more voters in that think STMA is going to win? Oh, they're closing the gap. You got 10 seconds left. Might have to go back to another coin flip on this one. Who's it going to be? We got STMA at Champlin Park week 1. I should have said last year. Oh, boom. That's it. Close the poll. If I forgot to mention, so if you look at the boxes over here, and then Champlin Park takes the dub. So Champlin Park dub, STMA takes the L. So I put what team won last year. So for example, if you look at the box right there, last time they played, which was last season, Champlin Park lost that game. And no, Champlin Park should have won that game, right? No, STMA won that game 14-7. Champlin Park lost that game 7-14. And I think that was up at STMA. It's always a hard place to play, man. We haven't played... I mean, we were at STMA in a state quarterfinal game versus Eastridge, but we got to be in the home locker room. The visitors' locker room at St. Michael Albertville High School for their football field is underneath their student section in the home bleachers. Absolutely wild. You know, I think Lakeville North does the same thing. Their visiting locker room is also underneath the student section bleachers. It's like sneaky little thing you can do. But oh yeah, go back on that. I don't want to erase that. All right, next one we have ACIO, who I don't know what they're gonna look like. Actually, we have two teams that I honestly do not know what they're gonna be like next season because Coon Rapids is a brand new head coach. They're playing a maroon schedule. And I don't really know. I know that he played receiver at St. John's. His name's Chase Vasquez. Went to Andover High School. Maybe he's adapting some of Coach DeVellis's Star Wars offense. Who knows? I just have no idea. Coon Rapids and ACIO, they're also getting a new head coach. Coach Stockhouse resigned earlier this year. And there was that whole issue with Coach Lamker. It sounds like he's not going to be the one in charge. I think I saw that they might actually, you know what? We can take a quick peek. ACIO head football coach job. It might still be, yeah, Minnesota School Jobs is still up there. Oops. Oh, it's no longer available. Did you see that, chat? Hi, Gaming Bros. That means that posting is no longer there. You know what? I want to check ACIO. Oh, I can't spell. ACIO Public Schools. Did they actually fill it? Because I have not seen an official announcement. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. Careers, please. Careers, blah, 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 blah. Applitrack, view the job openings, athletic, coaching, and then we want assistant football coach. Not what I was thinking. Girls basketball, marching band director. There we go. Frontline, band, drumline, wrestling. I guess they're having a lot of turnover at marching band. I saw the PH tab. I don't see any PH levels. Yo, Lance, what was in your autofill? I honestly have no idea. Strange. Head wrestling coach. But yeah, it looks like the head coaching vacancy is gone. So it must have been filled up. That is wild. So yeah, Osseo new head coach, but kind of going in blind on this one. The only thing we really have to go off of is Osseo managed to win 2 games last year. I don't know who's returning. I don't know who isn't. I don't know the head coaches of either of these teams or what their philosophies or what they're going to do. Other than Coon Rapids is probably going to be, or has an offensive-minded head coach. That's about it. So, poll starts now. Let's get to it. Type P in browser. No, that's almost as bad as saying bad words. We will have to hand out bans for stuff like that. Oh, we're tied. Oh, Osseo might pull away. Osseo is the home team, if I forgot to mention that. They do have a pretty cool stadium there. Teams are not that far away from each other geographically. We got 20 seconds left. Oh, this is another close one. We gonna have Osseo, or we gonna have... Well, Osseo's pulling away a little bit now. Bro's cooked. Coon Rapids might be cooked here. We'll see. 8 votes. What do we got? 5 seconds left. Oh, boy. Looks like Osseo, yep. And in the poll there, Osseo's running away with this one. So we're going to give the dub over to the Orioles, go down to Coon Rapids. They are taking their first L. And I guess Osseo did beat them pretty handily last year. All right, last game for the North Division. This was a repeat of a 5A matchup last year. The whole game's on YouTube if you want to go watch it. Rogers at Moorhead. Rogers is more of a run-heavy team, even though they do it out of 11 personnel. A lot of spread, power, read, dive, jet motion, a lot of stuff like that. Whereas Moorhead, one of the few RPO teams in the state, now 6A, kind of like Adina and Wyzetta. Only difference, they do it more out of pistol, whereas I guess Wyzetta is a lot of pistol too. Adina's more sidecar with their RPO spread. But Moorhead likes to do pistol I stuff, specifically out of 20 personnel. They'll have H-back on the line offset. They'll have him in the backfield next to the quarterback as like a pistol king or queen look. And obviously, you have 2 pretty good head coaches. You have Coach Franz, who's more defensive-minded at Rogers. And then you have Coach Feeney, who's offensive-minded guy. Who wins, Killer Bees or Junkyard Dogs? I don't think Killer Bees' offense put up any tutties last year, so I might have to say the Junkyard Dogs, probably. If Farmington's defense can stop the Killer Bees, then the JYD probably can too. The Avengers? I don't know about that. JYD. Alright, we're going to make this one live now. Well, if it erases the other option, because there is no third option. Alright, let's see what goes on with this one. Rogers at Moorhead. Like I said, Moorhead dominated this matchup last season, 41-7, and all of Moorhead's weapons are returning. So I'm tempted to lean towards Moorhead, but I don't know. I guess we will see. Well, okay, so far every single person has picked Moorhead. It's just a clean sweep here. No one thinks Rogers has a chance. Hey, well, you know what? I guess I forgot. It is at Moorhead. That's still like a... Yeah, Mr. Feeney. Yeah, that's true. I mean, your quarterback's first name is Jet. What a football name. I mean, that's quarterback material right there. Maybe he could be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings in a few years after J.J. McCarthy tears his ACL again. All right, poll closed. We have our first unanimous decision. 100% of the votes picked Moorhead, so Rogers is taking that L. And, hey, 4 teams out of the North won games, though. And Moorhead taking a dub. All right, so that is everything out of the Metro North. What division do we want to go in next? We won't have a vote on it, just someone in chat pick. You want to do maroon teams, west, south? What do we think? Everybody, that's true. We only have 8 people, but hey, might as well make it a good experience for the ones that are here. So who are we thinking? Chill on JJ? Yeah, I guess, you know, hard to say. I guess we'll see what JJ McCarthy ends up doing for the Vikings. Let's just go to the south. All right, Eagan versus Shakopee. Out of pocket JJ hate. I don't know, man. He's been injured a lot. It's hard to say with kids that are injured a lot. Shakopee and Eagan have not played in a few years. I want to say the last time, and it's at Eagan. So Shakopee at Eagan. Kind of weird that that's week 1 because that's a divisional matchup. 1 injury. No, I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL in high school too. And didn't he tear it at Michigan? I want to say this is like at least his second, potentially his third ACL tear for McCarthy. Shakopee, Eagan, irrelevant questions. All right, so these teams have not played in a few years. The last time they played was, I want to say it was week 8, 2022, and Eagan actually upset Shakopee at Shakopee. What do they know about Drake Fritz? I don't know, man. Hard to say. All right, here we go. Poll starting. Shakopee at Eagan, week 1 matchup. Put your votes in. Eagan's losing players. Shakopee's losing some linemen. He's only been hurt 1 time. Oh, we actually have some Eagan representation. Okay, yeah, Shaco's still leading the pack a little bit. Well, maybe pulling away. We'll see. Got about 20 more seconds. Something could change. Even hurt 1 hand. And that's it. Well, looks like Shakopee's picking up the easy dub on this one. I'm a Shakopee. Yeah, I guess it is kind of unfortunate that it's named Shakopee, isn't it? I guess better than Shakopoo, but alright, that's my bad. I gave Eagan the dub. So, Eagan is going to lose week 1. Chat has predicted, and the Shakopee Sabres start off 1-0. Alright. Now we get to a fun one. Farmington comes out. I feel so bad for Eastview. Farmington's coming out with their new gun. Actually, you know what? Let me draw it up on Huddle really fast, because I don't think I ever talked about... I don't want to go to playbooks. I want to go to practice scripts. There we go. Just do the test one. I don't care if people see this. This is just practice stuff that I draw up. There's, like, nothing actually to this. Shakopee Easter Islands. We'll just call this... I don't even know what personnel. This is Farmington's gun single wing, though. So, trade your tackle over to the side. Tight end Y is on this side. Then, obviously, the quarterback is offset to the strong side. He's not directly behind center. He's shaded on his heel. Running back is also over there. What color's my aura? I don't know. Main characters don't have to monitor their aura. Stick X out there. And then we get H is kind of snuck in behind the guard and the tackle. Then they have another slot or wing back, H back, whatever you want to call them, the Z out there. And this is going to be their offense. So center, label that really fast, left guard. And that's more of a run heavy. It's called gun single wing. It's a take on the old single wing offense. Mr. Bauer, relevant question. So this is what Farmington's going to be running next year. I am excited to see it, but at the same time, I'm glad we don't play them until week 5 or week 4. So I'll have 3 whole games to see what they do. I'm assuming it's just going to be a lot of power, a lot of run plays. I mean, you could direct snap over here and do an RPO to the running back. You can send the quarterback in motion out of this. I mean, this is just wild. This offense is terrible. Hey, that's just an opinion that someone in chat said. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. It's hard to say. Farmington usually has pretty solid offense. I think their defense has been okay at least last season, just not against Lakeville South. They have nothing on the power T. Historically, I don't think Farmington has done all that much on defending the power T. Sports fan, how we doing? But yeah. Either way, it's Farmington at home versus Eastview. So the game is Eastview, who was a Maroon team last year at Farmington. I don't think Eastview's had too much turnover in their coaching staff. But obviously, they're still a Maroon team again. Maroon team has not beaten a non-Maroon team in, I don't even know. I don't think it's happened. And it didn't happen last cycle. It happened the cycle before, but that's because we had teams like Stillwater and all that. So who knows? Either way, we are starting the poll. This is Eastview at Farmington. Let's see what we got. Who are we making picks for? And you can pick anybody. It doesn't even... We'll see. Lance, can you say hi? No, I don't know who that is. Uh-oh. This might be another Rogers-Moorhead situation. Farmington is running away with this. Oh, boy. Dude, the votes just keep climbing for Farmington. Bad language, please. Bad words will get you banned. Gold stars. We'll have to do gold stars when we get to the end of this. Right? Oh, someone picked Eastview. We have a vote for Eastview. It's not unanimous. 2 votes Eastview. Oh boy, poor Eastview. Maybe they'll get one later on, but we'll see. And that is the end of this poll. Farmington wins in a landslide. The Tigers start off 1-0. We'll go down to good old Eastview Lightning there. Give them that week 1 L. All right. Next up, we all know what this is about. We've got Lakeville South at home hosting the Mounds Mustangs. So I think I've talked to this. Mods ban him. Yeah, I think I've talked this one to death. I have that previous stream where I was going over Mounds offense. It's always hard to say what their defense is. We've actually going over to where did I put it? Team overviews. So this is the last time Lakeville South played every single team, and the number of times we played them. We only played, where are they? Mounds once, and that was in the 2019 state quarterfinal. That is the only time Lakeville South has ever played Mounds. And I want to say they ran a 4-4 base defense against the Power T. Lance, make me mod. You know what? Maybe I'll have to put together an application process and you can apply for that. But we'll see. Either way, we've got Mounds who lost star quarterback and running back. Both those kids were insane athletes, by the way. I've been watching back all their film. They can run GH counter, QB GH counter, speed option, power, all their base run plays. And they're just making a killing off of it. Except against Stillwater. They kind of hit a road snag there with Stillwater. And they somehow lost to Farmington week 1. That, like, shocked me. Mounds I thought, was definitely the better team. But then again, if you watch that game, Mounds came out slow and started off in, what do you call it? Like 10 personnel. They were trying to pass all over the place. And again, Farmington's used to run a pistol spread. So they're used to playing spread offenses and all that passing stuff. Probably not the best idea to run an offense that your opponent practices against every day. So here we go. Mounds at Lakeville South coming into the Cougars' den. Go ahead and vote. Get this, what does that say? This Pablo guy? We can be nice to each other. What is cooler, 10 personnel or your haircut? Well, I don't think my haircut has anything to do with 10 personnel. At Lakeville South, we're not a fan of 10 personnel. We don't need any of that. Oh. Who's voting for Mounds What's going on here? Alright. You know what? Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Maybe Mustangs can get a few votes here. That's totally fine. What's better? Mounds one vote or Coach Lance's haircut? I don't know. We have a Fed in the chat? I don't think so. That is the end of the poll. So Lakeville South wins in a landslide. It is not unanimous, though. We did have some votes for Mounds but the Cougars taking a week 1 dub. Now for the last team in the South Metro Division, it's Prior Lake, and they have to go right back to Forest Lake. Same week 1 matchup. For anyone that didn't watch, language please. For anyone that did not watch, I have that stream that should still be up from last Saturday, I believe is when I did it. I can't even remember. That's the one that went until like 2 in the morning or something. There was just so much to go over in that game. But I thought coaching-wise, Forest Lake absolutely dominated, but talent-wise, Prior Lake kind of dominated. Prior Lake always has giant kids, insane athletes. Ethan Beckman is coming back, that absolute mammoth of a left tackle. But if I had to pick just based on coaching, I think Forest Lake would win in a landslide. If I have to pick just on athletes, I think Prior Lake has the edge over there. Both teams, I don't think are making any changes on offense or defense. And I don't know. This was close last year, by the way. Forest Lake was like winning most of the game. Prior Lake kind of came back at the end. And it was only a 3-point game. Prior Lake won late 22-19. Anyone else like sports? I'd certainly hope so if you're here watching something about Minnesota high school football. But yeah, then again, Prior Lake is the road team. And, you know, this is one of those tentative games. There supposedly was talk of these teams wanting to trade with other teams for a week 1. Like, I know that I want to say the Wayzata Andover game was one that was floated. Like, instead of Andover going to Wayzata, Andover would go to Forest Lake, and then Prior Lake would go to Wayzata. I don't think the folks at Wayzata would approve of that. I think they'd rather play Andover. Well, I don't know. Either way, that's a tough day for the defensive coordinator. Do you want a game plan against big kids and have to worry about them mauling you, or do you want to take on the Star Wars offense? Your pick. Either way, how did I eat 20 burritos in the weight room today? It was only 1 burrito, and I only had 6 tacos and a torta. So here we go. Poll's going live. Prior Lake at Forest Lake. Make your picks. Will Forest Lake finally get over the hump and beat Prior Lake? Is it going to happen? Rangers have been hoping for this one for a while. Oh, but so far, Lakers are getting some votes. Oh, Lakers are pulling away. Lance loves tortas. Yeah, you know, I don't have them all that often. All depends. There's a little too much carbohydrates in there. Food good. Prior Lake's pulling away. We got 20 seconds left. No one thinks Forest Lake can get it done. They've come so close. How is it this? Lakers in 5. Do we condone tortas? Tortas are just great, man. They're delicious. Oh, I guess it depends on where you get them from. Oh, bummer. All right, so Lakers once again for the 3rd season in a row pick up a dub over the Forest Lake Rangers. Dang. I thought for sure this was going to be Forest Lake's year to get that done, but I guess not. Speaking of Forest Lake, though, let's make our way over to the East Division. So, South Division had themselves a pretty decent week 1. Just Rosemount and Eagan picking up dubs. Chipotle order? No, not a fan of Chipotle. A little bit too overpriced. And, like, if you get a bowl at Chipotle, like, 900 of the 1,000 calories in there are rice. Like, it's dead empty calories. It's so pointless. All right, so this is going to be an interesting game. We've got East Ridge, who's kind of on the rise. Cedric Thomas is going to be a senior, great offensive-minded coach. They have to open up at Minnetonka week 1. We all know about Minnetonka. Caleb Francois moving to running back, new junior quarterback. Their O-line's been working on pass protection this offseason. I think they're going to have a very potent offense. It's not just going to be Caleb go run quarterback GH counter into the boundary. They're going to be able to do a lot more off of it. Yeah, so but then again, you have obviously Coach Lombardi on the defense. Even if they do have guys that flip on defense, he's going to get it done. But then again, you also have Coach Fritzy over at Eastridge and offensive mastermind. We at Lakeville South know all about what he can do if you give him the same look over and over again. Just absolutely picked us apart. We got so lucky to beat Eastridge in 2023. All right, here we are. Let's see. We've got Eastridge at Minnetonka week 1. On the clock. Who are we picking? Raptors or Skippers? Or do I just skip to the end of the poll because no... Why are we not picking East... We got an Eastridge vote. There we go, Raptors. Represent. Answer, 1 gorilla or 100 men. Like in a fight? Man, if I see another one of those AI videos of 1 gorilla or 100 men, you know what? It depends. If it's on land, I'm taking the gorilla. If it's in water, I'm taking the men. Gorillas can't swim. They're all muscle. They just sink. But on land, it's got to be the gorilla. 4 seconds. I don't think an Eastridge comeback is happening here. No. So that's the end of the poll, and Minnetonka takes out the dub. So, Eastridge, Minnetonka, week 1, putting up a dub. It would get gassed. All right, next up, Stillwater. Could my haircut beat Maple Grove by itself? No. Minnetonka couldn't even beat Maple Grove week 8 without Chuck Langama, but then again, that roster was so stacked. Who's the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan? Well, Stephen A. Smith said that if LeBron lost to the Wolves, then he is out of the GOAT discussion forever. And funny enough, he actually lost to the Wolves. So I guess by that logic, he's cooked. Actually, I got the wrong team here. So next game, we've got Maple Grove at Stillwater. And keep in mind, Nick Kinsey is no longer at Stillwater. I have no clue who's going to play quarterback for Stillwater. Owen Eggy transferred out. I think their running back graduated. So I have no idea what Stillwater is going to look like next year. Very well coached, but then again, Maple Grove also lost a good chunk of their senior class. I think their running back is still really good. They're on the road, which, you know, I'm sure they've beaten Stillwater. I don't even remember if they've ever played Stillwater. Hard to say. Oh, how would I rate tortas? It all depends on what you're in the mood for, man. You can't just say, I love this food, I love that food. It's got to be all about the right timing. Like, I love ice cream, but if it's like -20 outside and I'm cold, I'm probably not pulling up to chill in Farmington to get ice cream. All right, so next game, Maple Grove at Stillwater, going live. 45 seconds on the clock. Who are we picking? It's at Stillwater. These teams have not played in a while. Maple Grove graduates a bunch of seniors. Stillwater either had kids transfer out or graduate. I have no idea. So I guess we'll have to see who is going to get it. We got 20 seconds left. So, dude, no one's giving... What is it about the teams out east? Like, every single team out east has lost thus far. And it hasn't even been close. We got to get more Metro East representation up in here. What one guy plus... I'm not going to answer that. It sounds like an NPC comment. And that is it. Another landslide. This time, Maple Grove's putting up the dub. Stillwater is losing at home week 1. All right. We're going to see about these next two. So keep in mind, White Bear at home versus Park Cottage Grove. Park is still a maroon team. They did not play White Bear last year, but White Bear has come the closest to losing to a maroon team. It was 2023. They were at Roseville, and they only beat Roseville 10-7. And they are... What are they? They're having a... White Bear Lake is having a brand new offense this season. Whereas Park Cottage Grove has Coach Frickland. He's really smart, so... I guess we'll see how it goes. This one, I probably have the least information on. I know that White Bear's offense supposedly is going to look like Forest Lake's offense. But then again, anytime you're changing offenses, it's just so hard to say, especially like over the summer. Obviously, I'm not in any of their coaches meetings. I don't have access to any of their huddles, so I have no clue what any of these teams are going to look like. I want to give the nod to White Bear Lake. Why do these schools have to have such long names? Isn't it funny the week 1 matchup is the two 6A teams that have 3 words in their name? Either way, here we go. White Bear Lake hosting Park Cottage Grove. Who do we got? Oscar and Graydon deserve to be mods. Like I said, maybe I'll consider putting together an application process and have you boys apply. Make picks. Oh, this one's kind of close. It's not too far off. Still 20 seconds. White Bear's got a solid lead. Oh, it keeps teetering. 10 seconds. Is Park Cottage Grove making a 4th quarter comeback here? Bro, I deserve to be admin. I don't think anything is ever deserved. You have to earn it. Alright, well that one was a little bit closer, but hey, White Bear Lake still picks up a week 1 dub, and I gotta give him some credit. A lot nicer week 1 game versus Park Cottage Grove compared to the last 2 years when they had Minnetonka week 1. Yeesh. Lance, I earned the admin. Well, I don't think that's how it works. All right, next one. We have an East team versus a Maroon team. Woodberry at Roseville. They've played the last 2 years. Woodberry smashed them in 2023 at Roseville, or at home, but then, or no, it was at Roseville. But then this past year, Woodberry only won 13-10, and it's not like Roseville was all that shabby. They only put up 10 points against Woodberry, but they dropped 55 on Hopkins. They beat Park. So, Roseville wasn't exactly a slouch last year. Hard to say. Coach Stephenson, I think, is a defensive-minded guy. Played D-line. I'm not that guy. Well, I'm not just that guy. I'm the main character. There's a difference. That guy is just kind of status quo. There's plenty of that guys. So, Woodberry at Roseville. Woodberry, Roseville. Either way, I gotta add in extra L there. Don't want to disrespect Roseville. So who are we picking? It is at Roseville. Woodberry won the last matchup, but it was close. What do we think? Is this finally going to be when a Maroon team gets a dub over a non-Maroon team? Chat decides. What are we thinking? Oh! Could it be? Oh, no, the votes are coming back in for Woodberry. Roseville had a hot start, but they must have had turnovers. Oh, this is tight. Who's going to pull out? Woodberry. Now it's tied. This might be another coin flip. We might have another North versus Blaine situation. Roseville's back on top. Oh, and pulling away a little bit. 15 seconds left. Is Woodberry going to pick it up? This would be wild. We pick Roseville to upset Woodberry the very first week of the season. Give you the ranch? No. Wingstop Ranch is next level. Alright, that is the end of the chat, or end of the poll. Who got it? Oh, Roseville with a close dub. So, that is actually crazy. That means Roseville is picking up the dub. And Woodberry, we have the first ever Maroon team beating a non-Maroon team week 1 already. Fantastic. It's kind of weird that White Bear is the only team in the Metro East that pulled out a dub week 1. Alright, we've only got one game left to pick week 1. It is Hopkins. No, Adina is at Hopkins. Hopkins has Coach Chauncey. They're putting a lot of things together. And we don't know if Mason West is going to be playing quarterback this year. Obviously, you've got Owen Eggy transferring into Adina. You've got the Moore brothers over at Hopkins. The coaches are fired up. The culture's fired up over there. But last year, Adina did win 56-0, but that was last season. This is this season. So anyway, poll begins. Adina at Hopkins. Final game of week 1. Who we picking? What has chat got this time? Oh, I think this one might actually be another Rogers-Moorhead situation. Oh, the Hopkins 8-0 prediction might be sinking at this point. I'm sure you saw my cool haircut. Picking the Tortas. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Tortas are an option in this one. Adina or Hopkins. Wouldn't that be funny if Adina changed their mascot from the Hornets to the Tortas? Interesting. Let's see. What are they putting up, Will? We've got... Oh, close. Yep. Time on that one. And 100% in favor of Adina. So we had 2 unanimous decisions. We had Moorhead over Rogers and then Adina over Hopkins. That'd be a huge mascot, the Torta. That'd be wild. All right, so we're on to week 2. Andover coming off a big win versus Wyzetta to open up their 6A career. Now they have to go to Champlin Park, another run-heavy team, old rival of theirs, in the same school district. Let's see, who do we think is going to win this one? It's at Champlin, or no, it's at Andover. So, Champlin Park at Andover. Already talked about these teams. Defensive-minded coach, offensive-minded coach. On the clock, who we picking? But did both teams... Yeah, both teams won week 1, so someone's not going to have an undefeated season. We thinking Champlin Park with the run-heavy younger junior class. We thinking Andover with Star Wars offense. It's going to be interesting to see how Champlin Park adapts, because you can't play a base 4-3 into Andover's Star Wars offense. It's just not going to happen. Are they going to go with their 3-3 nickel like they do against Anoka? Why wouldn't Mason West play QB? So a lot of the talk is that Mason is going to go to the juniors for hockey this season instead of playing football. And I guess if that is true, he won't be able to play football. So, but, you know, there's no way to know that for sure. Mason, yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt Mason West is going to go to the NHL. I think he's already projected as a first-round draft pick, and he's only in high school. Like, that's crazy. Either way, Andover wins a close one over Champlin Park. Champlin Park falls to 1-1. Andover starts their 6A tenure 2-0, putting up dubs. Irrelevant question. We got to cut it with the femboys and all that stuff. We're going to have to start handing out bands. All right, next pick we have is Forest Lake at Anoka. Let's take a pick here. So, Forest Lake, run-heavy team. Anoka, as we talked about, lost all their seniors. But then again, and both teams are coming off losses to teams out west. Like, sort of. Prior Lake's in the south now. Forest Lake lost to Prior Lake week 1, and chat also picked EP to stomp Anoka. So 2 teams 0-1. Someone's going to pick up a win this season. Is Forest Lake going to go into Anoka and get a dub with their run and their gun flex bone, I should say? Or are the Tornadoes taking care of business against the Rangers? On the clock, who we voting? Let's see here. It's not about glazing. It's about respecting your opponent. You can't just say, oh, an opponent is not going to do this, or they're not going to be all that. I think back to the Anoka game. We're like, oh, no, some of our defensive staff said that Anoka wouldn't be patient to take backside hitches all game. And, oh boy, did they take backside hitches all game. That will not happen again this year if we bump into Anoka in the playoffs. I guess we'll see. Oh, we got another close one. It's tied 50-50. Who's going to be the tie-breaking voter? Or are we going to have to break out the coin again? It keeps... We might have a little bit of a pull away here. We have a few more seconds. Get those votes in. All right, and that's it for that one. Chat, who do we got? Oh, Forest Lake with the dub. Anoka is taking an L. Interesting. So Anoka, 0-2. Rangers, back on track with another win. All right, now we're starting to get into some conference play. So, Rogers coming off an absolute stomping, according to chat, up in Moorhead week 1. No, I'm not answering that question. And now we have Blaine at Rogers. So Blaine at Rogers. Again, another offensive team in Blaine. The coin flip said that they lost, probably an overtime loss, we'll call that, to Lakeville North in week 1. Now they have to go to Rogers. Play another cat team. Royal, Panther. Interesting. But different teams. Both like to run the ball out of spreads. I want to say Blaine's offense is probably going to outpace Rogers. But what does chat decide? Let's see. Poll begins now. 45 seconds on the clock. Blaine at Rogers. Oh, we got some Royals showing up. Okay. Another close game. Remember, this is a conference game. These are both Metro North teams. Kind of like Champlin and Andover. The Lion doesn't wait. That's true. Rogers was getting in, looking at film early and already. Although, you know, were they actually getting out of Farmington's offense? I can check the 6A pool to see who was looking at game film. I think I was the only one actually in all of 6A. Yeah, I'm the only 6A team currently watching film out of the 6A pool, so poll closed. So, even though it was close early on, 1,000 Cooper's Bassies. Depends on how much the Cooper Bassies get to talk. So, here we go. We've got Blaine picking up the dub. Rogers is starting off 0-2 in 6A. Okay, next up, we have ACTUAL at Centennial. Hype for football season, aren't we all? Got a lot of work to do between now and then, though. Still got to scout out teams. I don't have all of them memorized yet. Working on that. Number 1 in my heart. Well, I appreciate the kind words. All right, next up, we have ACTUAL at Centennial. 10 Coach Burks versus 1 Coach Lance. If it comes down to eating, I think both Coach Burke and myself would say I win that. Coach Burke has had to witness me eat before, and he knows I get it done. So here we go. Last matchup in the Metro North on the clock. ACTUAL at Centennial. Run-heavy team versus whatever ACTUAL looks like next year. Maybe spread with GH counter. Who knows? They'll have some athletes. Maybe they'll rebuild. Centennial's supposed to be good next year. What do we got? Oh, it started a little close. Now Centennial's pulling away. Oh, Centennial's really pulling away now. I want to witness you eat. No, that will not be happening. Oh, I guess I technically had to eat lunch in the weight room today. That was... Sometimes work makes you go late and you have to pick up tacos on your way over. It just do be like that sometimes. But hey, work has to come first. What's the roof over the head? Food in the stomach. Literally in this case. Alright, Centennial gets the dub. 62% of the votes go to Centennial. So Centennial starting off 2-0. That week 4 matchup between Centennial and Andover is starting to look a little zesty. That could be a deciding factor for Section 5 up there. Alright, this is an interesting one. 2 run-heavy teams, physical teams, two teams that used to be middle of the pack but can't quite get over the hump and actually contend. You do a 24-hour stream? No, you will not be seeing. It's not all that interesting. I go to work for 8 hours a day, then I go coach at South for like another 4. Then I come home, eat dinner, I go to the gym. If I'm not streaming, then I come home and go to sleep. That's my daily routine, pretty much. Yeah, not all that interesting. But here we go. Eagan is going to be on the road at Prior Lake. Now, the one thing I will say is Prior Lake has struggled defending flexbone teams. They play Shakopee every single year. And even though Shakopee runs like 11 plays total, 11 different plays, Prior Lake just never seems to be able to like stop it or even understand how the flexbone works. It's kind of weird. So I guess that's kind of my only thing. No, we are not doing a gym stream. It drives me nuts when I see people recording themselves. Excuse me, at the gym. Should be illegal. But here we go. Eagan is at Prior Lake. Who are we picking? Will Prior Lake finally overcome their fear of the flexbone, or are the Wildcats going to get it done? Oh. Ooh, we're picking Lakers early. Yeesh. Lance, let's get an in real. No, we are not doing an in real life stream. Yeesh. All right, Prior Lake pulling away a little bit here. I mean, at least someone voted for Eagan. Give Eagan some credit. I know they're not going to have Brooklyn Evans, but they're very well coached over there. Their offense can score. I mean, they did that last year. They were decent against North. They were good. Obviously, they beat South, beat Rosemount. Kind of weird that they had a low-scoring game against Farmington. You don't normally think of Farmington as a defensive team. No, I will not be doing the ASMR. But chat has spoken very heavily in favor of Prior Lake. So Prior Lake gets the dub. Eagan falls to 0-2 after their good season last year. And Prior Lake starts 2-0. If chat picks Prior Lake to win more than 4 or 5 games, I might cry. Because that is like one of the most impossible things ever. Anyways, next game. Now we're getting into a lot of Metro South division matchups here. We have Farmington at Lakeville North. Now, North only won this game by 7 points last year. And that was, I want to say they had a bunch of players injured by that point. I don't remember if it was week 4 or 5. Might even have been week 6. No, it couldn't have been week 6. Because that would have meant that Eagan played Mayo and they played in week 2. So it's not that. But Farmington at Lakeville North. So who are we taking? Are the Tigers finally going to beat a Lakeville school? Or is chat really going to vote Lakeville North starting 2-0? On the clock, what do we got? Tigers, Panthers, border battle. Who we got? Oh, and there it is. The Lakeville North votes come running in. Oh, someone thinks the Tigers. Tigers with that new offense of theirs. Is the gun single wing going to be too much for the Lakeville North Panthers running their prowl defense? Apparently not. The distance is growing between them. Oh, boy. No sauce. Come on. Does no one really think Farmington has any chance? They're a good offensive team. I think they'll score some points. It was close last year, and Lakeville North arguably had a better team last year than they're going to have this year. But chat says otherwise. Lance, can I have me on? No, I will not be having guests on stream. All right, but hey, chat has spoken. We're taking Lakeville North. They're coming off a close overtime win over Blaine, and they're getting a nice dub over Farmington. Okay, no, I will not be sleeping on stream. I do not get enough sleep. Just when you have to grind all the time, it's all about that grind. Does Coach Spurrell sleep? Does Coach Benton sleep? Is Coach Esch sleeping? Or are they hitting the grind? I don't know. I can't control that. But what I can control is how much I grind. So we're going to be bringing the sauce. Anyways, next matchup, Lakeville South at Shakopee. So we did not match up last year. We matched up 2023. We beat them in the second round of the playoffs. Their offense didn't do too well that game. I think we held them to less than 100 yards rushing. I don't think they even had 150 yards total offense against us. Yeah, we're kind of the kryptonite of Shakopee. So this is a big game for the Sabres, and it's at Shakopee. They think they have the better team, and this is kind of like a big, hey, we're in the Metro South now, not the Metro West. Last year, we made it all the way to the state semi, barely lost to Maple Grove. We want to prove that we're here and we can bring the sauce. We're taking down the Cougars. Here we go. Lakeville South at Shakopee. Another battle of the Cats. 2 run-heavy teams, very physical defenses. One does it out of power T, one does it out of the flex bone. Who we picking? Ooh, this one might be closer. Started off close. Now Lakeville South is pulling away a little bit. Is Shakopee Lakeville South's really stopping the flex bone. No, we will not be donating money. I don't do this for money. I do this for fun. A lot of picks Lakeville South. Okay, I maybe we'll do better against the Flexbone this year. I know against Eagan we definitely struggled a little bit, but I can assure you that defensive package we used last year will not be making another appearance. And that is the poll. Chat has spoken. Lakeville South has taken the dub. Yes, sir. Dubs for the Cougars. Put up that first L. Sabres fall to 1-1. Yes, sir. All right. This next one, I don't think needs too much of a discussion. You've got Rosemount going back to Eastview. This was week 1 this past season, past cycle, I guess you'd say. Rosemount absolutely smashed Eastview most of the matchups. This was actually Rosemount's only win last year. Rosemount, Eastview. So who we taking? Does Eastview have any shot of beating the Irish? What do you think, chat? On the clock. The best movie of all time is the original Godzilla. I think I've got a few versions of it on the bookshelf over there with all the movies. But yeah, that's by far. You're not Mr. Beast in disguise. I asked 32 Minnesota 6A football teams to predict their schedules, and only one team can be the winner. Absolutely. And whatever team wins the Prep Bowl, I will give $20 million. Like, that's Mr. Beast right there. He ain't got nothing to do with that. Someone picked Eastview. Horrendous take. No, the original Godzilla is the best movie. Never do that again. Hey, that's just the way Mr. Beast... Literally every Mr. Beast intro is that. That's just how the dude talks. Alright, end poll. Rosemount's taking the big dub over Eastview. Scroll down. Poor Lightning. Oof. Dropping to 0-2. No, not O-L. L. There we go. Alright. Who is up next on the board? You know what? Let's go to the West Division. We'll pick some of these, and then we'll circle back to the East. Because the East have a lot of non-section matchups. Whereas these are a lot more conference matchups. So here we go. Next up, Eden Prairie at Maple Grove. Rematch the playoff game last year. Last year, Maple Grove won 34-0 in the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, that was with an absolutely loaded roster. Maple Grove may not have that roster. Eden Prairie has coaching turnover. What do we think, chat? Let's see. Here we go. What are we thinking? We have Maple Grove. We have Eden Prairie. What's the take? Oh, votes are coming in for the Crimson. And we have vote for the Eagles. Is this going to be the game that ends Maple Grove's winning streak? They went undefeated last season. Have not lost a game. And so far, I think, yeah, everyone picked them to win week 1. They're currently at 14-0 on their win streak. Are they going to get to 5-0? Chat seems to think they're going to get to 5-0. Yeesh. Yeah, only a few more seconds and it does not look like Eden Prairie. Unless we get like a massive burst right here in the last second. I don't think that's happening. Lakeville South and Lakeville North. Like the game, Lakeville South versus Lakeville North. It might be. I guess we'll see. It's always a close game between North and South. But chat has spoken. EP is taking an L. Maple Grove's win streak up to 15-0. All right, what do we got next? We have Wyzetta at Adina. Next poll. So, Wyzetta at Adina. I know that the last time Wyzetta played at Adina, they actually picked up a win. I think that was the last loss before Adina went on their big win streak. Lakeville South second round exits this year again. All depends on where everything stacks up. It's hard to say. Like I said, we definitely underestimated Anoka. Definitely could have been a lot better. So here we go. We have Wyzetta at Adina, week 2. Who we picking? Both RPO teams run essentially the same offense. Question on whether Mason West returns to play quarterback? Who knows? We're picking the Torta. The Adina Tortas instead of the Hornets. Are we making that the official new name? The Adina Tortas? Well, if we are, the Adina Tortas are pulling away here. Are you the Lance Strang-It coach? I do not know what that means. Strength coach? No, the head strength coach of Lakeville South. I am not the head strength coach of Lakeville South. Few more seconds. Is Wyzetta going to catch up? I mean, this is a pretty close one. Adina's barely winning. And it doesn't look like they're going to get over the hump. So, close one, but chat has spoken. Adina's taking the dub. Wyzetta falls to 0-2. Get that dub up there. There we go. Alright, next up. This, I don't know what to say about this one. Minnetonka at STMA. Kind of a weird matchup. They haven't played in a while. I want to say they played 2022. And I think Minnetonka won that. That was like, I know 2021, or no, 2020 I think was the first year, or 2019 was the first year Coach Esch took over there. Maybe 2020. And they were still kind of feeling things out. But then 21 and 22, they really started to put things together. And now they're a contender. What do we think? The only other thing, like I said, it is up at St. Michael Albertville. Minnetonka's going to have to sit in that locker room underneath the homestand. So what do we got? Minnetonka at STMA. Is Caleb Francois getting it done? Oh, Caleb Francois might really be getting it done. We might have another blowout on our hands. No one thinks that the Knights are going to get anything done, really. No Knights. Oof. All picks for Minnetonka. Well, you know what? We have 15 seconds left. Maybe someone will want to vote STMA in the last 15 seconds. Hard to say. Although not looking too likely. Yeah, I don't know. One. Alright, that's the end of it. Nope. We have another unanimous sweep. Everyone picks Minnetonka. They're taking down STMA. Alright. This is an interesting matchup. If not because of the offenses, but because of the distance. I mean, you have like the two furthest teams apart from each other in all of 6A. Like, I gotta look this up. How far away is Moorhead from Woodberry? Moorhead High School. Then I want to go from there, and my starting point is Woodberry High School. Oh, you know what? I actually thought it was going to be 4 hours. It's only 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I guess it's not too bad, but still, that's 250 miles to play a football game in high school. Wild. We don't need the coin flip. Haven't had another coin flip, but yeah, big distance being traveled. So what do we think? Moorhead kind of gets their first taste of 6A, and they have to go all the way out to Woodberry. Woodberry was a young team last year, kind of underperformed from what a lot of teams thought they were going to be like. Well, will they be able to take down the Spuds? What does chat think? Moorhead or Woodberry? Oh, we've got votes coming in for the Spuds. No one's giving the Royals a chance yet. Someone has to think that Woodberry has a shot, right? No, is this... Everyone, why are we picking the West team so heavily? It's like, oh, they're in the West. That means they just have to win. I'm sure Moorhead's going to be a very good team. And yeah, I guess their first two matchups are probably their easiest. And then they have 6 divisional games in a row. So, oof. Yeah. Definitely the road's going to get a little bit tougher. So Moorhead definitely needs those first 2 wins. Chat has spoken. Moorhead with the dub. Woodberry is taking a loss. Alright, next up, we've got a lot of East teams playing a lot of Maroon teams here. So let's see. First up, we'll do, what is it? Hopkins at East Ridge. Both offensive heavy teams, both have basketball players at quarterbacks. Who's going to be the better matchup here on the football field, not on the basketball court? Hopkins or East Ridge? What do we think, chat? Who we got the pick? Oh! Oh! Could it be? Is Hop getting it done? We might have another Maroon team upsetting a non-Maroon team. It could happen. The Brothers Moore are coming into Eastridge and taking over. Ooh, okay. I mean, there's still 10 seconds. Eastridge could mount a comeback. It's possible. Doesn't look like it, though. No votes coming in, and that's it. Hopkins picks up the dub. Wild. Maybe that's Eastridge. Eastridge L. Hopkins gets a week 2 dub. Hop might not be 8-0, but there's a win. All right, Roseville, or I'm sorry, Moundsview. Are they going to have a bounce back? They're hosting Roseville, who's coming off of, did we say Roseville? Roseville's beating Woodberry. Poor Woodberry starts 0-2. So we will see. Is Roseville going to keep it going, or is Moundsview going to win this one? Moundsview's kind of got, if you look, they're sandwiched. They got Roseville, kind of a relief game, in between on the road at Lakeville South and on the road at Maple Grove. Like, what did Moundsview do to deserve that as their 2 non-district games? That is, or I guess non-section games. That's crazy. But, yeah. Which of these 2 teams do we think? Roseville at the Moundsview Mustangs. Roseville, Moundsview. Will the Raiders get it done? What does chat think? Mustangs getting votes early. $20 more seconds. See if the Mustangs can pull away. Could be. Yeah, this might be another unanimous one. Votes are climbing up for the Moundsview. Nobody is giving Roseville a chance in this one. And that would be it. Yeah, Moundsview takes the dub. So they get back on track after a tough loss to Lakeville South. Get things going. Roseville, after picking up a big win, kind of brought back down to earth. All right, we got 2 more games week 2. Next one up, we have Stillwater at Park Cottage Grove. I imagine Stillwater would probably win this one, but hey, you never know. Like we said, I have no idea what Stillwater is going to look like offensively next year. Post Nick Kinsey, I think the running back graduated. Owen Eggy transfers. I don't know. I guess we'll see. What does the chat think? Stillwater at Park Cottage Grove. Who won last year? What does it say there? Stillwater won last year 45-17. Oh, Park Cottage Grove takes the early lead, though. Oh, but then Stillwater ties it up. Could this be an upset? Is Park doing it? Dang, man. Talk about a rough start for the Ponies. If this sticks the way it is, we could be looking at Park Cottage Grove getting a dub. Oh, boy. We only have 10 seconds left. Is anyone going to come in and... No, we got another vote for Park Cottage Grove. It does not look like that lead's going away, and it is not. Park picks up the dub over Stillwater. Oh, boy. Park, take that dub, 1-1. Now, Eastview's the only team that doesn't have a win in the Maroon, but we still got to pick Coon Rapids. It is Coon Rapids hosting White Bear Lake. So White Bear Lake at Coon Rapids. Like I said, these 2 teams I know next to nothing about because they're both changing a lot next year. White Bear Lake, new offense. Coon Rapids, brand new head coach. No clue what they're going to look like at all. And White Bear's coming off a decent win over Park. Coon Rapids got throttled by Osseo week 1 based on what chat decided. So I guess what'll happen here? Is White Bear going to get upset by a Maroon team, or is Coon Rapids not going to have it together just yet? Because it is early in the season, new head coach. What do we think, chat? Oh, votes are coming in for White Bear. I mean, if it stays on course like this, White Bear might be picking up another easy dub. That'd be crazy. White Bear Lake topping Section 5 at 2-0, where half the teams in that section haven't even won a game yet. The White Bear Lake votes are going up. Chat thinks the Bears are getting it done. Not what I would have predicted. White Bear Lake being the lone team atop of the Metro East at this point. But then again, they don't play any division games until week 4, so that kind of the first 3 weeks aren't as important. Really matters once you get into your conference play right there. And that is it. White Bear gets it done. Coon Rapids falls to 0-2. Go down to our buddies at Coon Rapids. Oof. Tough start, and it's not going to get any easier because Coon Rapids... We'll start at the bottom of the schedule this time. No, we'll go back to the top. But that is the next game we have to pick. Andover is hosting Coon Rapids. So Coon Rapids, we've already... Chad has picked. They're starting off 0-2. At Osseo, they lost. They got beat at home versus White Bear. Now they have to go on the road to Andover. Division rival, in-district rival, coming from... Yeah, they're both Anoka-Hennepin schools. So... Yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see which of these two teams. Andover, obviously, very well-established program, and Chad has picked him to start off 2-0 in 6A. So if they can beat Champlin Park and Wayzata, I assume Chad is going to pick them to beat Coon Rapids, but you never know. That's the beauty of Road to the Prep Bowl. Chad could pick whoever they want. So Coon Rapids at Andover. Both teams, and you know what's interesting? Head coach Chase Vasquez played at Andover High School for, I don't know if he played for Coach DeVellis. I think this was before Coach DeVellis took over, but yeah. He visiting his old stomping grounds, has to coach against his former high school. What do we think? Coon Rapids, Andover. Who are we picking? Oh, we're tied. Votes. Whoa, what in the world? Do we have the upset going on here? Everyone's picking Coon Rapids all of a sudden. So this is what blows my mind. How is it you're going to beat Wayzata and Champlin Park, but then you pull up and lose to Andover, or pull up and lose to Coon Rapids at home? I don't know that I'd agree with this pick, but I can't fight chat. Democracy is about to have spoken. We got 5 seconds. Maybe Andover can pull out something at the end. But yeah, that one's gonna sting. So, poll closed. The people have spoken. Andover's winning streak comes to an end at 2. Coon Rapids is picking up their first dub of the season. There we go, Cardinals. Way to get on the board. Alright, here's a big rivalry battle. This is gonna be the game that I break down this coming Saturday. We have Anoka at Blaine. Last season, the game was at Anoka, and Blaine won 27-14. So what do we think is gonna happen here? We've got Anoka at Blaine. Both very offensive-minded teams, in-district rivals, very familiar with each other. Both spread offenses 10-11 personnel. Anoka is a little more passing. Blaine is a lot more running. Blaine will run its quarterback. Anoka does not run quarterbacks. Both lost their star quarterbacks to graduation, Sam Shaughnessy and Peyton Podani. Kind of weird that they both have alliteration. PP and SS. Interesting abbreviations. What do we think, chat? Anoka at Blaine. Could be a big division-deciding game. What do we think? Irrelevant question. Oh, we're tied up. This is gonna be, these border battles are always close. Hard to say who's gonna win. Oh, this might be another coin flip. Oh, Blaine's pulling away a little bit now. Is Anoka making a comeback? We still have 15 seconds for Anoka to make a comeback. Owen McLeod just entered transfer portal. Did he really? Wow. I guess he's not going to be at UND anymore, though. I guess we'll see where he lands. I'll have to go to a game. Still need an autograph. And chat has spoken. Blaine's getting back on track. After having lost to Anoka 2 years in a row, Anoka's taking that dub. Dude, ain't no way. Anoka starting 0-3. Chat is crazy for that. But hey, people have spoken. Speaking of teams with streaks, here we are. Yeah, I'm sure. He's going to Coach Lance U. Yeesh. I don't think so. I am not planning on starting my own college or university. Not going to happen. Next up, we have Centennial at Champlin Park. Always a fun physical battle. Both run-heavy teams do it in different ways. Champlin Park does it out of 12 personnel. Love to run the quarterback. Centennial does it out of the flex bone. Also loves to run the quarterback. But who do you think is going to win? Fun division rivalry. Obviously, I expect Champlin and Centennial to both be pretty solid next year. What does chat think? Which of these run-heavy teams is taking it away this season? So far, we said Champlin is 1-1. They lost to coming off a loss to Andover, get a nice win over STMA week 1. Whereas Centennial has blasted Rosemount and ACTUAL the first 2 weeks. Patrick Mahomes did not retire yesterday. I don't think that's happening. Oh, votes are going to Champlain Park. Really? Centennial's win streak is coming to an end. Is that real? Oh, Centennial's mounting the comeback. Here it comes. Is the undefeated streak going to continue? Gotta have one undefeated team left. Oh, they're tied. We got a few seconds. Are we going to get a game-tying vote, or are we going to have to go to overtime? Oh, is it still tied? If it's still tied, it's tied. We're going to the coin flip. All right, who's the home team? Champlin's home. Home is heads, so Champlain Park heads, Centennial tails. It all comes down to the coin flip. 10th grade next. Yeah, they've given me a whole bunch of titles. 10th grade D-line, varsity quality control, varsity scout D-master, varsity scouting analytics. I get to wear a lot of hats. I do fun stuff. But Champlain Park is home. They're heads. Centennial's on the road. Centennial is tails. Heads Champlain, tails Centennial. Who's winning? Is it going to be? Oh, you know what? I would tend to agree with that. No one is going to win in overtime more than Centennial. Centennial's win streak stays alive, 3-0. Champlin drops 2 in a row. All right, let's see. Maybe Rogers is finally going to pick up a win here. We've got, who's the home team? Rogers at ACTUAL. I get difference in head coaches. ACTUAL apparently has a new head coach. They haven't made any announcements on their Insta or anything. I haven't seen anything, but the posting is off their website. So it's been filled. I just don't know who it is. Hopefully they'll announce sometime in the near future. And then obviously Coach Franz is the only head coach that Rogers has ever had. So I don't know. What does chat think? Who did I say was Rogers is on the road? Rogers at ACTUAL. ACTUAL maybe a little more offensive. Rogers a little more defensive. What do we think, chat? On the clock. Is this going to be another overtime game? Oh, Rogers. Oh, now it's split. Another close game. Oh, then ACTUAL pulls away. Ooh. Yeesh. Rogers has to make a comeback, right? There's no way Rogers is going to start 0-3. Then we'd have 2 0-3 teams in the Metro North. It'd be Anoka and Rogers at that point. If things stay the way they are. We still have 15 seconds for for Rogers to make a comeback. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. 5. Nope. ACTUAL maintains their lead. ACTUAL gets the dub over Rogers. So ACTUAL dub. Rogers taking an L. Oh, yeesh. 0-3. ACTUAL, nice start. 2-1, though. Andover, 2-1. Do I want to buy salt? No. I actually don't manage my own, what's it called? Because I rent, I don't have to mess with my water softener. I do appreciate the offer, though. I'm sure there are plenty of folks in Lakeville that would love to buy salt for their water softeners, though. All right, moving on to the Metro South. We have another, I guess, rivalry game in district. We have Eastview at Eagan. Eagan has smashed Eastview the last 2 matchups. I think, what was the score last year? Eagan won 34-7. I think it was at Eagan, too, last year. So going live, who do we think? 45 seconds. Is Eastview going to pick up a win, or is Eagan going to drop to 0-3? Eagan is not as cute. Other people in Lakeville. A relevant question. Or I guess a relevant statement, I should say. Eastview, oh, hey, that's up for chat to decide. So far, chat is... Yeah, everyone's picking Eagan at this point. Eastview hasn't picked up a vote in this game yet. But, I mean, they've got the 3 tough game start. Farmington's not too shabby. Obviously, Rosemount is Rosemount. And then Eagan has really come alive these last few years under Coach Johnson. So, I would tend to agree that Eagan's probably going to win this game. And... poll closed. Eagan does indeed pick up the dub. Eagan dub. Going down to Eastview. 0-3. And then they're going into their section, or their district play. So, Next up, interesting game. Lance in 5. Well, I don't have 5 games in the season. I have 8 regular season games. I guess there's 5 playoff games in 6A if you make it to the state title. I guess we'll see, though. Next up is kind of an interesting matchup. Battle of teams that are orange and black. We have Farmington at White Bear Lake. Up in White Bear. I know that Farmington beat Mounds View, who killed White Bear Lake last year, so I guess we'll see. Farmington, White Bear Lake. Who we thinking, chat? This is kind of a weird one. Both, you know what's funny? They're both orange and black, and they're the 2 teams in 6A getting new offenses this year. And they play each other in non-conference play. So hey, let's see. Who do we think? Farmington at White Bear Lake. Whose new offense is going to win? Is the Farmington gun single wing going to win, or is the new gun flex bone for White Bear going to win? So far, chat is fully in favor of Farmington. Is Farmington going to have a new young quarterback? I don't know if that... What was... Because he was only a 9th grader this past year, wasn't he? I don't even remember his name. Wasn't it... Jonah was their starting quarterback. I don't remember the name of the kid that was a 9th grader this year. I think he played up to sophomores, though. Might have even played JV. Big kid. Can run the ball, too. And... Gavin Holmquist, Cade Boyles. I'm seeing a few different names. I don't know. Hard to say. I don't really know any of the Farmington kids. Cade is a senior. Let's see. Either way, White Bear Lake is picking... Or I'm sorry, Farmington's picking up the dub. And White Bear Lake, after starting 2-0, is going to fall... Well, I guess they beat 2 Maroon teams, but they're going to lose to Farmington. It's Gavin Brew. Bruh is B-R-U-H. Alright. Oh. Here we go. Everyone's been waiting for this one. The fireworks are going off. LBC is closed. Dairy Delight's closed. Teresa's is closed. Even Northern Tap House is going to close. Everybody is pulling up to Lakeville South High School to see the Battle of Lakeville. You know what they should just do? At this point, they ought to just, like, drain Lake Marion and build a football field under it. And then we just have stands that come up out of Lake Marion. And then South sits on the south side, North sits on the north side, and we just play in the stadium that's hidden beneath Lake Marion. That'd be absolutely sweet. 1 Coach Lance versus 100 Pretzels? I don't think so. So here we go. This is the big Battle of Lakeville. We have Lakeville North at Lakeville South. Obviously, South won 5 years in a row. North got back on track last year. Bring back the Big Cat Trophy. You know what's interesting? There was that trophy that went between North and South. But after, I want to say it was when we won in 2019 regular season, when we finally beat North, the trophy mysteriously disappeared after North had it for 10 years. That's what Coach Burke has told me, so who knows where the trophy is? No one at South does. Maybe the coaches at North do. Who knows? You know, it's funny. I've been getting ads for new trophies. Maybe I'll just have to build a new trophy and we use it. Oh. Well, the votes are pretty skewed right now. Everyone's picking the Cougars, so hey, Cougars get back on track. That's what we like to see. North has a lot of question marks after their offense, or they just have a lot of turnover. Linemen are staying the same, but losing Ripplinger, losing Hunt, losing Grossman. Well, I guess there's going to be a 9th grade Grossman this coming season. Wouldn't that be funny if they're like, we're going to go from one Grossman right to the other, and they put younger Mr. Grossman as the starting varsity quarterback? That'd be wild. All right, so this is an interesting matchup. We have another physical game. These teams have not played since 2022. We've got Prior Lake at Rosemount. Funny enough, I was actually at this game in person. This is when I was still coaching at Jefferson. I just wanted to go out and see some football. It was a big game. Rosemount was undefeated. Prior Lake had, they were loaded. They had Martin Owusu, Greg Johnson, Jade Abasiri all playing on the same team. And Rosemount still got the dub. So, and it is back at Rosemount. And now these are both teams kind of past that. I don't want to say they're past their prime, but coming off of a few down years where everyone thought they'd be a bit better. But are they going to get back on the rise? We'll see. Who does chat think is going to win between these two? We got Prior Lake at the Rosemount Irish. Lakers getting it done, or are the Irish getting it done? Apparently, chat thinks the Lakers are getting it done. No one's picking Rosemount? Really? I mean, the last time they played, well, that's true. Prior Lake was winning, but... I don't know. Lakers in 5. Well, I don't know if they're going to play 5 quarters, but maybe if they go to overtime. I don't know that Prior Lake would win all 5 of those if that was the case, but hey, we have a vote for Rosemount. There we go. Okay, now this is starting to get a little sus. So, poll closes, we pick Prior Lake. I have to remind everyone, Prior Lake has not won more than 5 games in the regular season in a decade. All right, like you'd have to go back to when I was in high school almost to the last time Prior Lake won more than 5 games in the regular season. And we have them starting 3-0. Just putting that out there. I mean, maybe this is the year that they finally break through. Who knows? But it's definitely been a hot minute. I mean, on the one hand, they're consistent. They haven't had a losing season in 15 years, but they haven't won more than 5 games in 10 years. So, who really knows? Either way, Prior Lake gets the dub. Rosemount is picking up an L. Now we have a really weird matchup. This is another cross-district matchup. You got Shakopee at Stillwater. Why does Stillwater get to host all these non-section games? They got to host Maple Grove, and they get to host Shakopee. But you know what's funny? That means that next year, they have to go to both Maple Grove and Shakopee, neither of which are very fun places to have to go play a road game in Minnesota. So, who do we think? We have a heavy run team in Shakopee with some returning starters versus a Stillwater team that I have no idea what it's going to look like next year. What do we think in chat? Oh, the vote's actually a little bit even. Well, now Shakopee's pulling away a little bit, but Stillwater had a little bit of life at the beginning. Maybe they can mount a comeback. Well, maybe not. Looks like the Flexbone's Flexbone is taking over in the votes. Oh boy, what if Stillwater can pass the ball? I know they lost Kinsey, they lost Owen Eggy, but they can still get it done. I mean, they're like the 8th or 9th biggest school in the state. They have to have plenty of kids. I mean, I think they have a beautiful high school, don't they? I've never been up there, but just seeing pictures of it and everything in their football stadium on stream looks great. Oh, but they're taking an L this time. Chat has spoken. Shakopee's getting back on the winning side of things after losing to South week 2. And Stillwater is starting off 0-3. You're really going to say that Stillwater is going to lose on the road at Park Cottage Grove and then lose at home to Shakopee? Like, oof, poor ponies. Starting 0-3 in non-conference play. Let's get the rest of these non-conference games wrapped up. We'll go with the East. And then starting in week 4, from week 4 on, the Metro East all play each other. So their crossover games are done after week 3. Not too many of them there, but we will see. We have another East team versus a Maroon team. We have East Ridge pulling up to Roseville. And I think Chad actually picked Roseville to win one of the last games. Yeah, they picked Roseville to beat East Ridge's arch rival Woodberry. So are they going to get the other half of the city of Woodberry done? Are they going to take down East Ridge on the south side? You know what? I think East Ridge, ironically, is no, they're further east than Woodberry, yeah. So I guess that makes sense. But they're south. Interesting. All right, East Ridge at Roseville. These two teams haven't played in a few years. I think 2022 is the last time they played. What do we think in chat? Who are the votes going in for this time? Oh, Raptors. Cedric Tomes is getting it done, huh? He's passing all over. Yep, more votes coming in. Looks like the Raptors are going to pick up the first win of the season. I'd hope so. They're coming off of that tough loss to at home versus Hopkins. The Brothers Moore did them dirty the week before. Now they're getting back to their winning ways. 10 seconds left. East Ridge is still pulling away. We haven't had a single vote yet for Roseville. No one is pulling up for Roseville. Yeesh. I guess not. That is it. And East Ridge picks up their first dub of the season. Roseville, not so much. Falling after starting off 1-0, they dropped 2 in a row. All right, continuing on. We have Forest Lake at home versus Park Cottage Grove. Park Cottage Grove, and they are at Forest Lake. So Forest Lake coming off a nice win against Anoka. Are they going to be able to keep that win streak alive? I imagine Anoka's probably going to be a better team than Park. Well, it's hard to say because they're graduating so many kids. Both teams are pretty well coached. I guess we'll see. What are we thinking, chat? Are the Rangers getting it done? Supposedly, this could be a breakout year for the Rangers. We have them starting off 1-1. They're picking up that tough loss to Prior Lake, getting back to their winning ways against Anoka. But what are they going to do against Park Cottage Grove? No, dude, what is with the Park Glaze? Park is coming up in the chat again. Could it be Park upset Stillwater after, well, they lost a tough one to White Bear Lake. They pull an upset at home versus Stillwater. Now they're going to go on the road, and they're going to take down Forest Lake. Ain't no way. Oh my, we have 5 seconds. No one's going to vote for Forest Lake to come back. No, Park Cottage Grove is staying at the top. Wild. All right. Well, hey, Park Cottage Grove, 2-1. Forest Lake, 1-2. Dang, maybe Park Cottage Grove shouldn't have gone to Maroon. I mean, they're picking up some nice wins here in the Metro East. Yeesh. Got a tough one next. So, Mounds View, they got to go to Lakeville South week 1. Picked up a nice, and obviously they got smacked. Picked up a nice home win versus Roseville. Now they're back on the road, and they have to go to Maple Grove, of all places. Like we said, Maple Grove is kind of on a reload year, losing a lot of stud senior talent. A lot of bodies are going to have to replace. What are we thinking? Chat gets to decide. Mounds View taking this one, or is Maple Grove going to continue to roll? I think at this point, what do we say? Maple Grove is up to 15 straight wins. This would be their 16th straight win across 2 seasons. Oh, well. Sorry, Mounds View. The votes are not going in your favor right now. Yeesh. I don't even know when the last time these teams played was. Maybe they haven't played before. I know there's some teams that Lakeville South has never played. Obviously, Rogers, Moorhead, Andover we've never played. I think the other two are Coon Rapids and ACTUAL we've never played against. And that is the end of the poll. Maple Grove takes another dub. And I don't think we're ever going to see them because none of the brackets, like just going over to those really fast, Mounds View, Maple Grove, extend 16-0. Just looking at the brackets, if you look at the seeds for, because they're going to be locked in, Coon Rapids is going to be an 8 seed. And then any of the brackets, like none of the brackets exist where the top seed of Section 3 would play the bottom seed of Section 5. Like out of this, even the 2 brackets that are not up for selection this year, because they're from the last 2 years, they don't have any matchup where the winner of Section 3 plays the bottom seed of Section 5. It just, it doesn't happen. So, yeah, the only way we would ever get them is if they ended up as, well, Coon Rapids couldn't because they're maroon, but suppose Ostio's a 7th seed and Lakeville South ends up as a 2 seed. That is a possibility. I guess we'll see. All right. Hopkins is getting it done again, boys, right? We've got Woodberry on the road, and they're going to Hopkins. Woodberry is 0-2 thus far. Had a tough upset, from Roseville week 1, then obviously have to host Moorhead. Jet Feeney kind of popped off. Who are we picking this time? Is Hopkins going to keep the streak alive? Who did Hopkins? We said Hopkins just upset Eastridge. Are they going to complete the Woodberry, City of Woodberry gauntlet? Are they getting it done? Or is Woodberry picking up a dub? Oh no, oh, Hop versus the World is taking over. Oh no, Woodberry's fighting back. This might be Woodberry finally gets on the board here. We got 20 seconds left. Oh, there's another one for Hop. Okay. The Brothers Moore get another touchdown. Maybe they ran quarterback GH counter with Trey Moore back there. That'd be sweet. You got 5 seconds left. And that'll do it. Hopkins picks up another dub. Let's go. And Woodberry falls to 0-3. 2 0-3 teams, Stillwater and Woodberry in the Metro East. And then Hop collecting the dub. And that's it for the Maroon teams right there. All right, we got 3 games left to pick for week 3, all in the Metro West. These are some absolute powerhouse matchups. So the very first one we have is Adina at Eden Prairie. The big rivalry. Cake Eaters versus Eagles. The Adina Tortas versus the Eden Prairie, I don't know, empanadas. Sure. That sounds tasty. Empanadas sounds so good right now. Ooh. What do we got, though, chat? Eden Prairie hosting Adina. Hornets have to go in and fight the Eagles. Maybe they got Mason West, maybe they don't. Eden Prairie has some staffing turnover, but they always have a lot of great kids. Oh, it's tied thus far. This might be another overtime. Oh, now Adina pulls away. We're picking the tortas over the empanadas. So we got like 20-ish seconds left. Is there an Eagles comeback, or is Mason West just going to get it done? Or whoever may end up being their quarterback if Mason West decides to go play hockey instead. Who knows? 10. Oh. Nope. It looks like Adina's holding on. No sauce. Wow. There we go. Adina gets the dub. EP 1-2. And then, ooh. Adina and Maple Grove starting off 3-0. That's going to be week 4 game of the year right there then. When they match up. One of those undefeated streaks is going to go bye-bye. Alright, next up. This is a big one. So, both Moorhead and Minnetonka starting off 2-0. Moorhead's played Rogers and Woodberry, and as we said, Woodberry, so far, Chad has picked Woodberry to go 0-3, and they've also picked Rogers to go 0-3. So, it's not like Moorhead's beaten any tough competition in this simulation thus far. Now they gotta go all the way on the road to Minnetonka in front of 8,000 people, one of the biggest high school stadiums in the state. What do we think, chat? Is Jet Feeney going to get it done, or is Caleb Francois going to get it done as a running back? I guess we'll see. Moorhead at Minnetonka. And I don't know if the distance traveled will matter that much for Moorhead. I mean, they're used to traveling for football games. They're used to traveling for Olympic weightlifting. It's just part of the culture over there. I think they'll be able to handle that, but who's going to come out on top? Chat decides. Big game. I think I picked this one as my week 3 game of the week when I did that with Minnesota High School Football Network. Big matchup. Oh, no one is giving Moorhead a chance. Everyone is saying Skippers. Maybe I should have just skipped this poll on this one. It looks like we might have 3 teams that are going 3-0. Well, because one of the 2 has to win. We're gonna have 3-0 teams in the Metro West. That's crazy. No one's going to vote for Moorhead. We're not giving Moorhead any comeback chance. Really. Only a few seconds left. Speak now, forever hold your peace. No, we're just adding more votes for Minnetonka. I see how it is. All right. Skippers take the dub. Unanimously, I might add. L over there. Now we come to our final game of week 3. We have STMA at YZ. So like I said, these 2 teams, they didn't play last cycle, but they played, I think, like 4 times in 3 years between 2021 to 2023. 2020 to 2022, I think, is when they played. But yeah, they played each other a lot back then, kind of had a break for 2 years. Now we're renewing the rivalry. What are we thinking? Knights or the Trojans? Who's getting it done? And it's at YZ, big stadium. I don't think it's their homecoming game. I imagine they probably... Well, their last 2 home games are Minnetonka and Maple Grove. This might be their homecoming game for YZ. We'll see. What are we thinking, chat? Votes are coming in. So far, the Trojans have a slight edge over the Knights. We really think... And you know what? I didn't realize this. Both teams are 0-2. Someone is picking up the first win of the season here. Are the Trojans getting it done? Oh, another vote goes to the Trojans. Looks like the Trojans are pulling away in this one. We might not need overtime. We got 10 seconds. Anyone else gonna... Nope. The gap is widening. The Trojans keep pulling away. And that is it. YZ picks up their first win of the season. STMA still searching for that first dub, and that concludes play with week 3. Where are we after week 3? Andover 2-1. Looks like Centennial 3-0, undefeated up north. Lakeville South and Prior Lake both undefeated in the south. Rosemount and Eagan trying to get it going, but South is looking pretty good. East is struggling a bit. We got Stillwater and Woodberry searching for their first wins. After 3 weeks, White Bear is still on top of the division. But like I said, we're about to start conference play, weeks 4 through 8. All 6 of those teams play each other. So we're going to figure out how things are going to go there in a little bit. West is the West, man. STMA may not have a win, but we have 3 teams that are undefeated so far. Adina, Maple Grove, and Minnetonka. And the big game week 4 is Maple Grove at Adina, so we'll get to that one. And then with the Metro, or the Maroon teams, Hopkins has a winning record and Park has a winning record in non-district play for the first 2 weeks. So, hey, look at the Maroon teams getting it done. We love to see that. Let's go back to the North. This is a big game. So, we have, and I think I picked this one as my game of the week for week 4. And Andover, high-speed, Star Wars offense at the Centennial Cougars. Run heavy, flex bone, physical, grind it out. Ooh. This is just going to be such a cool matchup. Who does Lakeville? I think we play Farmington this week. Yeah. Farmington. That's who we play week 4. Might have to check in when we're over at Farmington High School at halftime. I know they like to put on their big marching band show. I might have to pop on the Centennial Andover live stream, see what's going on over there. But here we go, chat. Who are we picking? Is Centennial keeping its undefeated streak alive? They had a close overtime game. Had to resolve it with a coin flip against Champlin Park the week before. Is Centennial getting it done, or is Andover's high-speed offense going to be too much for the Cougars to overcome? What do we think? Oh, it's even. This might be another OT game. And I almost always take Centennial in overtime. Oh no, the Cougars are pulling away. Oh, but then... Oh, no, Andover struck back for a second, but then the Cougars continue to pull away. Oh, I mean, that is a tough defense to crack over at Centennial. They hit hard, man, and they play fast, too. Plus, oh, Andover made a little bit of a comeback, got another vote. Oh, but just barely off. Centennial's win streak stays alive, and Andover, after starting 2-0, drops to 2-2. So, I'm going to have to keep our eye on Centennial. Right now, they're the front runner for the 1 seed in Section 5. Next game, we have... Who's the home team? ACTUAL at Anoka. So, yeah, like I said, don't really know too much about ACTUAL. Their head coaching position apparently has been filled. No announcement yet, but I guess we'll see what that looks like. And then the Anoka Tornadoes. A lot of talent has graduated, but they still have Coach Wasserich and a very good offensive scheme over there. So who do we think it's going to be? Tornadoes? Orioles? Who's getting it done? Is this... I didn't even realize. Anoka started the season 0-3 according to chat. And ACTUAL is 2-1. Oh, bro, chat. All right. Chat seems to think ACTUAL is taking it away. Oh, it's evening out a little bit. Anoka's making a comeback. It's by 1 vote. Are we getting Anoka to come back up? Or is it going to stay like that? We have 10 seconds left. Is Anoka making a final comeback, or are they dropping to 0-4 according to chat? Is it? Alright, end poll. I didn't even see who ended up coming out on top. ACTUAL gets the dub. 3-1 Orioles. Dude, chat is going crazy for another. There's no way Anoka starts 0-4. I don't see that happening. But hey, chat has spoken. Chat says Anoka starting 0-4. Alright, next up, Blaine at Coon Rapids. These teams did match up last year, and this is why it's kind of surprising. Anoka beat ACTUAL 55-19 last year, yet ACTUAL's winning this year according to chat. So remember, Blaine destroyed Coon Rapids 55-9 last year. 55-9. Just putting that out there, chat. But then again, they don't have what's his name? Sam Shaughnessy anymore. Too much alliteration. Hard to pronounce that. Blaine, Coon Rapids. So who are we thinking? Coon Rapids with their new offense, or is Coach Law and the Blaine Bengals gonna take care of business? What do we think? Blaine getting it done? Chat seems to think so thus far. Oh yeah, votes are coming in for the Bengals. Multiple votes. Yeah, no one is giving Coon Rapids a chance. Has Coon Rapids won a game yet? We picked them for one, didn't we? Yeah, so Coon Rapids can upset Andover, but they can't beat Blaine? Chat, I don't understand. Well, that is the time. Poll closed. Blaine runs away with this one. Blaine with the dub. Coon Rapids taking the L. So, hey, they have a big win over Andover. They can hang their heads on that, even though they're 1-3. Not too shabby taking down the Huskies. Okay, we have 0-3 Rogers hosting 1-2 Champlin Park. So again, two run-heavy teams that do it kind of out of more so Champlin Park 12 personnel, Rogers 11 personnel, but both like to run the ball. Both like to run their quarterbacks. Is Rogers picking up their first dub, or are the Rebels getting it done? Champlin Park at Rogers. What do we think, chat? Are we going to hit with the Mason West glaze again? I don't know. Polls live. Oh, votes for the Rebels early. More votes for the Rebels early. Oh, poor Rogers. Rogers has to pick up one of the... Oh, I mean, they got 4 tough games in a row after this. Centennial, Andover. Well, apparently Anoka's 0-4, so maybe that one might finally be when they pick up a dub. But there we go. We got some Rogers votes on the board. Okay. Maybe Rogers is mounting a comeback. Maybe they take down the Rebels. We need a few more votes to do so from chat. Oh, but are we going to run out of time? Oh, we are. Champlin Park hangs on, wins the second game of the season. Rogers falls to 0-4. Both Anoka and Rogers, they meet week 7. One of the teams has to win a game this year. They can't both just lose every game. Come on, chat. All right. Next up, this is an interesting one because Eagan almost got it done last year. By the time they played North started to have a lot of injuries. I think it was a rainy game. I want to say this might have been the week that we played Mayo. How's it going, Higlis? Oh, just making picks, chat voting, having a blast. We're on the Metro South Division right now. We got Eagan at Lakeville North. Close game last year. Eagan almost got it done. But it's at Lakeville North again. Are the Panthers going to come out on top? What do we think? You can never doubt the Lakeville North Panthers. But then again, Coach Johnson has done a great job rebuilding. Oh, the Eagan! The Wildcats are coming out strong. It's unanimous. No one's giving North a shot. Ain't no way. Chat thinks Eagan's running away with this. I mean, we have 20 seconds left. Maybe someone will vote for Lake. There we go. Lakeville North is coming back to life. We got votes for North. Panthers are not down and out. They want to rebound after a week 3 loss to Lakeville South down here. Will they get it done? No, it looks like Eagan might hold on to their lead. And, oh, almost. North mounted a last minute, I guess last second comeback, but Eagan barely pulls it out at the end. That is a dub Eagan and an L for Lakeville North. Okay, now we're on to one of my favorite games of the year. We have, who's the home team? It's at Farmington. So we have the Lakeville South Cougars visiting our best buds, the Farmington Tigers. They got Chill Ice Cream Studio in Farmington. Huge shout out. That place keeps me going, man. Oh, especially if they have their S'more to Love ice cream. Ooh, get some marshmallow in there, graham cracker, chocolate. Fantastic. Well, who are we picking? Lakeville South is 3-0. Farmington so far, what did the chat pick? 2-1. Not too shabby. But then again, their wins are Eastview and White Bear. So I don't know. Votes are going heavy in favor of the Cougars. More vote Cougars. No one thinks the Tigers have a chance. I mean, the Tigers scored points on us last year. They put up almost 30. The only problem is we scored 50. I think the year before that, it was, 35-14. They actually didn't do too bad of a job. Park 66, Forest Lake 30%. Yeah, I know. Wasn't that crazy? That one was wild. I could not believe that. Yeah, chat has not been a fan of Forest Lake this season. There we go. Lakeville South has taken this dub over Farmington. Yeah, how has Forest Lake done? Forest Lake picked up losses to Park and Prior Lake, but they did beat 0-4 Anoka. So Rangers have that going for themselves right now. All right, what do we have next? Oh, interesting battle. Prior Lake and Minnetonka. Is Prior Lake's physicality going to be enough to overcome Minnetonka's coaching? I don't know. And Minnetonka also has a ton of kids. Who's the new head coach? So it's technically not a new head coach at Farmington. They had co-head coaches. So there were two guys that were both the head coach. It was Coach Sutton, who went over to, I think he's at Forest Lake now, right? I don't know what he does there, but he's an assistant at Forest Lake. And then John Piper was the other co-head coach. He's now the sole head coach of Farmington High School. So it's not necessarily like a turnover. It's still one of the same guys. They're just missing half the duo. I think, and what's new is the OC, though. I think his name's Zach Cinnamon. I think he coached at, yeah, his last name is actually Cinnamon. Zach Cinnamon, Farmington. See, yeah, this is the new OC. Sped teacher at Dodge Middle School. Oh, lives in Northfield. Yeah, I got a view. I want to say, yeah, he did. He was the OC, 10th grade at Chanhassen. So I imagine he's bringing some of that Chanhassen offense over to Farmington. And he's actually a freshman coach. Funny enough, when I was at Jefferson, I would have coached against him in 2019. Go figure. So, how about that? Small little connections in the world. But yeah. Anyways, hard to say what Farmington will look like. Do I still have the, that's the league pool. Let me see if I still have the practice script. If you want to see what Farmington's offense is going to look like, they're running a gun single wing offense. So yeah, this is it. It's unbalanced. Tackle is going to be over to the right side. Tight end on the backside, unbalanced. Running back is not directly behind center. He's offset. His inside foot is going to be off the center's heel. Quarterback is offset on the other side. His inside foot is going to be just off of the center's outside foot. You have an H-back that's going to be a sniffer between right guard and right tackle. You have a Z that's going to be another wing back. So you have a sniffer and a wing back. And then you have one wide receiver split out there at X. And that is the single wing. So you got the wing right there, basically. And it's only on one side. Yeah, that's going to be Farmington's offense. No idea what that's going to look like. I guess we'll find out soon enough, though. But next game we got up is Minnetonka at Prior Lake. Minnetonka won at Prior Lake last year, 28-7. The year before that, it was only a 1-point game. I think Prior Lake missed a kick to tie the game. Go figure. But yeah, to me, I think coaching goes in favor of Minnetonka. Players, I don't know. Prior Lake has huge kids, and they're always super athletic. Hard to say. What do we think, chat? Prior Lake, Minnetonka. I think Minnetonka's currently undefeated. We have them at 3-0 down here. Yes, we do. And, oh, you know what? Actually, both teams are undefeated. One of them has to lose. Someone's winning streak is coming to an end week 4. It's either the Lakers or the Skippers. So far, Chad is unanimous for the Skippers. Really? The Lakers are cooked? There's 15 seconds. Maybe the Prior Lake can mount a comeback. You know, they run their wing offense, wing T. Maybe they're going to run buck sweep another 40 times a game. I know I talked that to death in my stream Saturday night. They just kept going back to that buck sweep without any play to set it up against Forest Lake. I was shocked. Offense is buns. I don't know. I guess we will see what it looks like come week 1. Thankfully, we don't have to play Farmington until week 4. So I'll have 3 games worth of stuff to scout them on to see what they do run. Where's Minnetonka? Minnetonka picks up the dub. But yeah, I have no idea. I imagine they're going to run a lot of like power, counter. They could even do a buck sweep out of that. You could even send the quarterback in motion, which is kind of crazy. The running back could pass, quarterback could pass. I guess we'll see. I imagine it's going to be a lot of boot passes, though. You can't really do drop back passes out of the single wing because, I mean, single wing existed before the forward pass was even a thing. So who knows? Now we got a big matchup. We have, who's the home team? Rosemount at Shakopee. So Shakopee got back on track. They went on the road to Stillwater and got a big dub last week. And now Sabres are back at home hosting the Rosemount Irish. And so Rosemount also is, what are they, 1-2. Chat is not too high on Rosemount thus far. But that could change. Rosemount is always a good team, very well coached. Poll starts now. Who do we think, chat? Irish or Sabres? Who's getting it done? Oh, it's tied. This might be a close game. We might have to break out the coin flip. Who's going to get deciding votes here? Oh, Shakopee pulls away a little bit. Is Rosemount going to even it back up, or the Sabres going to hold them off? I guess I should point out, Rosemount also does flexbone stuff. Well, sort of out of flexbone. They do a lot of triple option, both out of flexbone, out of eye, out of their wishbone. They love triple option stuff. So if anyone's going to know how to defend Shakopee, it would be Rosemount. But it looks like Shakopee's talent is going to overcome Rosemount, and they're super well coached at Shakopee. Obviously, Coach Benton and his crew are fantastic. And Shakopee takes the dub. Shakopee dub. Rosemount falls to 1-3. We have 3-1 Prior Lake, 3-1. Oh, I accidentally put the L in the wrong place there. There we go. Lakeville South's beating Farmington, not the other way around. So we have Lakeville South pulling away at 4-0. Prior Lake and Shakopee trailing behind at 3-1. So even if Shakopee won out and Lakeville lost just one game, South lost one game, South would earn the 1 seed because week 2 matchup, chat picked South to win over Shakopee. So we'll keep it going. Next up, we've got Eastridge hosting White Bear Lake. So White Bear at Eastridge. This is where it gets tough for me to pick all this because you've got division rival games. You got to throw the playbooks out the window. These teams have seen each other like 100 times. Actually, I think Stillwater and White Bear have actually played over 100 times. I think that's the oldest rivalry in... You're thinking White Bear Lake is going to take down the Raptors? I guess we'll see what chat decides. White Bear Lake, Eastridge Raptors. What are we thinking? White Bear did get a nice win over... New OC is from Columbus, Florida. Is that for White Bear? That's the new OC? You might be getting it done. Yep, the votes are coming in for White Bear. Eastridge might be falling to 1-3 with the sole win over Roseville. I mean, they did have a tough game week 1, losing to Minnetonka, and then chat said that they're going to lose a home game to Hopkins week 2. The brothers Moore are going to do them a little dirty. Pick up a win over Roseville, but then entering conference play now, they're going to get the dub. And poll closes, they do indeed get the dub. Eastridge falls all the way down to 1-3. A 3-1 White Bear Lake team is currently leading the Metro East. That's wild. We'll see if that continues. All right, next up is Forest Lake, who's kind of been a victim of the voting thus far. They are 1-2, got upset by Park Cottage Grove week 3. Are they mounting a comeback and sticking it to Woodberry? We have Woodberry at Forest Lake. Let's see. I've heard that Woodberry was a real young team last year, and they're supposed to be a lot better this season. I honestly don't know. How many times has Lakeville South played Woodberry? That's the wrong thing. It's the overview. I want to say we've only played them twice in our school's existence, and the last time we did play them was 2018. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've clashed with them. I don't know. Hard to say. Oh, there we go. This is what I expect. Ranger Nation. Oh, no. It's tied up. Rangers were leading away, and now Woodberry's making a fourth quarter comeback. We have 5 seconds left. Is anyone going to be the deciding vote? No, we're going to overtime. Oh, boy. All right. Time for overtime. We have the coin flip. Who's the home team? Forest Lake. So home team is heads, road team is tails. Heads Forest Lake, tails Woodberry. Heads Forest Lake Rangers, tails Woodberry Royals. Who's getting the dub? Heads or tails? Heads Forest Lake. It is heads. Forest Lake pulls out the dub in OT over the Royals. There we go. Dub Forest Lake, overtime loss, Woodberry. Whew, that was a close one. Rangers getting it done. All right, next up, this ought to be a fun one. This was, I don't want to say the most shocking loss, but one of the two losses for Mounds View last year. I guess both were shocking. They lost to a Stillwater team. They lost to Forest Lake and White Bear, especially that Week 5 White Bear matchup was like, or Week 6, I think. Shocking. I could not believe that when I was watching the replay. And then Week 1 to Farmington was a weird one. I feel like Mounds View definitely should have won that. But kind of like we talked about earlier, Mounds View was trying to do a lot more 10 personnel passing at the beginning of that game. They came to life after they started doing GH counter, but by then, Farmington had things kind of under control. So let's see. We've got, who's the home team? Oh, Mounds View is the home team. So Stillwater at Mounds View. And remember, Mounds View's coming off of 2 tough road losses. They lost at Lakeville South week 1, according to chat, and they just lost at Maple Grove the week before. So, might be a little beat up. They're looking to kind of get things back on track going into conference play. Will the Mustangs get a win over the visiting Stillwater Ponies? What does chat think? Who are we picking? Oh, we've got votes for Mounds View. No one's going to vote for Stillwater post Nick Kinsey, apparently. I didn't even realize that. Stillwater's 0-3 at this point. No one's going to pick. Does Stillwater have the running back from last year? You know what? I got 15 seconds to take a quick peek, and then before I close the poll. Stillwater football, MN, let's see. They have to have their rosters up here, right? Program, head coach. No, I don't want VAA. And there we are. And chat closed. Mounds View picks up the dub. I'll type that in. We have Mounds View taking the dub. Stillwater falls to 0-4 on the season. That is a rough start for the Ponies, but Woodberry is also 0-4, and they play each other. When does Stillwater play Woodberry? Week 5, actually. So one of the teams has to win. Varsity roster. What was his name? This was it. Emilio, right? He was the running back. He was only a junior last year, so he will be coming back. Emilio is going to be back as the running back for... He's only 5'7"? I didn't know that. 5'7", 2... That dude's got to be built if he's 5'7", 200. That's wild. Yeah, looks like he's going to be back. Nick Kinsey, not so much. He's going off to Ohio, but yeah. They had some 10th graders. Not too many. D lineman, linebacker. Interesting. But yeah. Elio will be back, so Stillwater has their run game still. Maybe they're going to stick with a lot of the I formation instead of going spread, especially now that they don't have Nick Kinsey anymore. Maybe they just stick with the Maryland I. All right, now we're moving on to the Metro West. Time to get to the big teams. We've got EP at STMA. I think chat so far said STMA is 0-3, but then again, EP is only 1-2, which kind of weird to think about. I mean, these two teams were powerhouses just a few years ago. Like, STMA made it to the state semis in 2021. EP was undefeated until they lost to Adina in the state semi just like the 2023 season before this previous season. Like, crazy. And now everyone's kind of writing them off, but you can never underestimate them. So let's see. Will STMA pick up their first win of the season, or is EP going to get back to 2-2? Ooh. So far, chat seems to think EP. Down year for Eden Prairie. Yeah, you know, I've kind of heard that. I know that they've had a lot of turnover with their coaching staff, too, which is crazy to think about. Like, I know Coach Grant's been the head coach there for 32 seasons. I think this is going to be his 33rd season as their head coach. That's crazy enough, but you think of how many of those guys have been with him. Like, that's crazy that they've been coaching. I mean, you're talking about like 300 years worth of coaching experience amongst that staff, and now some of those guys are being switched out. And that is the poll. We got STMA put up a little bit of a fight, but chat has spoken. EP holds on to win it. Yeah, I really don't know. It's hard to say, especially with Eden Prairie having such a tough schedule. I mean, look at this. Maple Grove, Adina, Minnetonka, Moorhead, Wyzetta. Like, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I really want to get those wins over Anoka and Eastview, definitely. Yeah, and next week, they got that big one with Minnetonka. Speaking of big ones, we have 2 undefeated teams matching up right here. We have, and who's the home team? It is Maple Grove at Adina. Ooh, boy, this is a big one. 2 undefeated streaks on the line, and in this simulation, we're assuming Mason West is playing football. What does the chat think? Whose winning streak is staying alive? How many D1 kids were on the Maple Grove roster? Goodness, I'd have to look at Minnesota High School Football Network's posts that he does about where all the kids went to college. I'm trying to think. Hermodka, obviously Chuck, Vocal. I guess technically Caden Harney is going SDSU, but he's only a junior. I mean, Maple Grove's still going to be stacked. They have a ton of kids. I don't know if it's going to stay that way forever. I know the Osseo School District put in rules about being able to open enroll from Osseo or Park Center over to Maple Grove High School. So maybe that changes in the next few years. Because I think Chuck Langama was technically... And the poll closed. We have a tie. We have a coin flip. I want to say that he was an Osseo kid and then open enrolled to Maple Grove. I don't know for sure. Who's the home team? Adina is home. So Adina will be heads. Minnetonka will be tails. Whose win streak... Or no, is it Minnetonka or was it Maple Grove? It was Maple Grove, right? Maple Grove, might be. Wrong M team. So, heads, Adina, because heads is always home. And then tails, Maple Grove. Heads, Adina, tails, Maple Grove. What do we got? Heads! Adina wins this one. Maple Grove's win streak comes to an end. 13-0 plus 6. They won 16 straight games. Can I elaborate on open enrolled? So, open enrollment is when you basically go to a high school that you're not boundaried in. Like, for example, say that there's a kid that lives inside the Farmington School District boundaries. So, like, Farmington School District boundaries. I always love that they have all the maps and everything. Yeah, show me the interactive map. No, I don't want to find... Okay. Yeah, that's cool, Farmington. Thank you. Okay, their website sucks. There we go. So here's a nice map. Suppose a kid lives in the city of Farmington and they live like right over here. Now, what open enrollment is, yeah, it's sort of high school recruiting. A kid can apply to go to another high school. The only downside is they don't get any of the public transportation. Either the student or the student's parents or legal guardians would have to transport them to the school. And I believe that school districts make money off of it because all their government allotted funds are based off of enrollment. So if kids do open enroll, money goes to the high school they open enroll to because higher enrollment, and the district that they leave from loses enrollment. There are some rules with open enrollment. If you open enroll, I believe it's the first 2 games of the season you have to miss if you open enroll, and that's in like any varsity sport. Or maybe, I think it's 25% of the season, which that translates to 2 games for football, but it would be like a few more games. Obviously, basketball plays a lot more games. Is that how... Prior Lake doesn't open enroll as much. It used to be the whole season. I don't know if it's the whole season anymore. I want to say that they changed the rule recently. You are right, though. It did used to be the entire season, but they have been lenient on that. Prior Lake has a few kids that open enroll. We really don't have too many. Minnetonka is the big one that open enrolls. Like, Minnetonka High School is way bigger than what the city of Minnetonka can technically support, but they get so much money off of students that open enroll there. So that's why they can spend more money per student than other school districts. And I think same thing with Adina. Like, you have kids from Bloomington that open enroll to go to Adina. Yeah, there it is. Yep, Adina too. Adina loves open enrollment. But it's the same thing. Suppose a kid, like, I didn't even think about this. Why don't I go to Osseo Public Schools boundaries? Osseo Schools district map. Oh, looks like they're changing it. So high school, so here you go. Suppose a kid lives over in this area. They can actually open enroll to go to Maple Grove High School, even though they live over here and are boundaried into Osseo. Same thing. Suppose a kid lives over here in Brooklyn Park, they could open enroll to go to Maple Grove High School. They'd have to sit out a little bit for sports. Once that, like, punishment period ends, then they can go to high school. The only way to, I guess, transfer around that open enrollment rule is you have to claim residency within the school district's boundaries. So like I said, if a kid still lives here within ASIO, they can open enroll at Maple Grove, but then they would face a little bit of punishment time. So like they wouldn't be allowed to play like 2 games or a full season, whatever the current rule is. Whereas if the student, like, say his family rented an apartment or something, like, there's ways to get around it. Say they rented an apartment and claimed that as their home address to the school district in Maple Grove, then that student would technically have a place of residence within the Maple Grove school boundaries. A lot of hockey players live in hotels in the city they want to... I guess I never thought of that. I don't coach hockey, or I don't really follow Minnesota hockey, so I couldn't speak to that, but, and I don't know if hotels count, but you can rent like apartments and that would count. So obviously that's going to cost quite a bit of money, but you could hypothetically do that. And that is how some people get around the transfer rules and everything. All you got to do is move cities, because like suppose a kid actually moves, like the family, parents take a new job, have to move from like say Blaine over to White Bear Lake. Then obviously that kid should be able to play sports because the family's moving. And how do you tell the difference as to someone that's actually moving versus a family that's just trying to move over? What's my favorite seasoning on a torta? Irrelevant question, but burrito tortas are delicious. We gotta get back to picks, though. We got some fun games left on the board. We got Wayzata having to travel all the way up to Moorhead. Are the Trojans... That is a long road trip. I don't know if Wayzata's ever had to travel that far for a game. But they're about to. Wayzata at... I could actually spell Moorhead. There we go. And you know what? I actually really like this matchup because you have 2 post-snap RPO teams going at it. Let's see. Who we picking, chat? Wayzata at Moorhead. Who we thinking? Oh. Votes are coming in for Moorhead already. Really? Oh, yeesh. Is Jet Feeney really getting it done? Didn't Wayzata get a new quarterback? It didn't, I want to say a quarterback from Maple Grove transferred to Wayzata, right? I think Caleb from Minnesota High School Football Network was telling me that. So who knows? And that is a weird transition. You're going to go from an I formation, play action, bootleg type offense to a spread RPO. Like completely different systems. And... full close. Chat has spoken. Moorhead is getting it done. They're recovering after a big loss to Minnetonka. Wayzata falls to 1-3. Oof. Alright. Now we got some fun games. We got the Maroon boys. Here we go. First Maroon game. We have Roseville at Eastview. I'm really surprised that Eastview won this one because Eastview gave Hopkins their first win in forever. Roseville loses to Eastview, but then Roseville turns around and absolutely smashes Hopkins. They scored 55. Actually, look at it right over there. Roseville beat Hopkins 55-35. Like, sure, they gave up 35 points, but Roseville scored 55 points in a football game. I think that's worthy of some kind of commendation. That's awesome. You know what? I ought to pull that game out of the pool. I'm going to go check that. So, you all vote. Let me know who we think. Roseville at Eastview. Who's getting it done? I'm going to check the huddle pool and see if that game is hiding in there. Because if it is, I'm going to have to watch that. Ooh. Votes are coming in for Roseville. Ooh, yeah, it's still open for me. Roseville has no more running back. He was a stiff arm demon. Oh, bummer. I'm sure they'll have some other kids come up, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. We played Roseville in Shakopee, Eagan. Yeah, that's very helpful, Eastview. Label everything as just game. Well, game versus who? Oh, goodness. They make it difficult. The only way I'm going to be able to figure that out. Either way, we have picked... Who do we pick? Roseville unanimous over Eastview. Eastview taking that L. Roseville putting up that dub. All right. This is the big one. This was a 50-50 game last year. I'm hyped for this. Park Cottage Grove at Hopkins. You know, maybe I gotta abbreviate them or maybe just call them Park, because having to type that whole thing out every time is oof. I think that might be the longest name in 6A. Park Cottage Grove, White Bear Lake. At least White Bear Lake is only 3 syllables, but Park Cottage, well, I guess 4, but whatever. Let's see. Park Cottage Grove. And Hopkins has been rolling this far. Chat thinks they're getting up. Hopkins all the way. That's true, man. Hopkins has some good studs. The Brothers Moore. Chat picked the Brothers Moore to beat the Woodberry. Actually, this is the district South Washington schools. They beat Eastridge. They beat Woodberry. If they beat Park Cottage Grove, they beat all 3 of the schools in that district down there. So what do we think, chat? Is Hopkins going 3-0 against South Washington County schools? Trey Moore is about to rush on GH counter for 300 yards. Oh, no, it's close this time. Some people think Park is going to pull it out. Park did have a big win over Stillwater and a big win over Forest Lake. They've won big games recently. Oh, this is a tough one. Both teams lost week 1, coming off of 2 straight wins on a collision course. This might come down to overtime again. We might have to break out the coin toss. We do have 10 seconds left. If anyone's going to be the deciding vote, we got enough room for another one. Otherwise, oof, yep, we're going to OT. Oh boy. All right, who's the home team? Hopkins is home. Hopkins head, Park tails. Hopkins is heads, Park is tails. Who do we got? It's going to be heads again? No. It is tails. Park Cottage Grove pulls out the dub. Hopkins falls to 2-2. That means Park Cottage Grove is leading the maroon right now. That week 7 matchup against Roseville is going to be big. Might decide who is the 7th or 8th seed down there. Woo! All right, let's do a quick rundown. See where we are halfway through the season. You should do my own in-depth analysis of what I think this bracket is really. You know, maybe I'll do that sometime. It's honestly so hard for me to like predict because some of these teams I have like no idea. Like Andover, I think will be solid. I don't know what Anoka is going to look like post Peyton Podani, Trey Borchers, and Zach Welch. They're still well coached, but do they have the talent to reload with? Blaine has a ton of kids. They'll compete. I think I picked Centennial originally to win this section this year. I think they'll be good. Champlin will be solid. I think not this year, but next year is when they're really going to break out. Osseo, I have no idea. I was talking about earlier on stream, Osseo's head football coaching, like the job posting online, is no longer up there. So either they're doing interviews or they already made an offer to a candidate. I don't know if it's Slamker. I've heard that apparently it's not because there were NCAA rules that there was going on. Something was going on there. So I guess we'll find out soon, but I don't know what Osseo is going to look like. I have no idea what Rogers is going to look like in 6A. The only 6A team they've ever played was STMA, and that was back in 2016. It's been almost a decade since they've played anyone remotely close to 6A. Hard to say. Eagan will probably be down. North will be down. Farmington, new offense. No idea what they're going to look like. South should be better. We're fixing things up defensively because, I mean, you see, we gave up 35 to North. Even though we beat Farmington, we let Farmington score 29 points. We gave up 35 to Eagan. That's not saying a whole lot. Rosemount's offense wasn't all that good last year. They kind of struggled, but Prior Lake, I don't know. I mean, they seem to be like perpetually 4-4, 5-3, at least for the last decade. They haven't won more than 5 games in the regular season. Rosemount, I think they're going to be young, but they'll still win. Shakopee is going to be very good. These teams in the East, I just have like no idea. What is Stillwater going to look like without Nick Kinsey or Owen Eggy? What is Woodberry going to look like? They were young last year. Is Eastridge going to run it back a little bit? Mounds lost a lot of their star talent, especially their quarterback and their running back. What are they going to look like? Initially, I want to say Forest Lake is probably my favorite out of Section 4 here. I think this, especially this season for these teams, like just going over to the brackets really fast, I'll zoom out a little bit. So if you look, the top seed of Section 4 is going to have to play Coon Rapids or basically any of those 3 teams. So that bracket, they'd play Coon Rapids. That one, they'd play Coon Rapids. That one, they'd also play Coon Rapids. And this one, they would play Eastview. So it's super important for Forest Lake to get that 1 seed, because otherwise, if they end up as the 2 seed of Section 4, then you're looking at having to play the 7th seed of Section 3, which could be like an Eagan, a Farmington, or maybe even a Rosemount. And that's probably not a matchup the Rangers would want in the first round of the playoffs. So yeah, especially if you are in Section 4, which is the Metro East, that division, huge year for them to try and win the 1 seed. It is going to make all the difference in the world, especially with the other 3 sections only having 1 Maroon team locked into that 8th seed. 7th seeds are going to be loaded this coming year. Well, I guess next 2 years for the state tournament. I guess we'll see what that looks like. And then the West. All these teams are probably going to be pretty good, but how are they all going to compete against each other? Wayzata and STMA might be more 6-7. Moorhead, I think they can compete, but I've never seen them play 6A teams. They literally never have. From what, like, I was going through the last time teams played each other over here and just looking at Moorhead. They haven't played Andover since 2015 in the playoffs, and they played Rogers last year. Other than that, they did play STMA in 2016 when STMA was still 5A, but that is the only time Moorhead has ever played any 6A team. Like, ever. So I literally don't know what they're going to look like. Minnetonka is probably the favorite to win the state title. They're bringing a ton of kids back. Caleb Francois running back. Offense is going to be loaded. What are the odds of Lakeville South winning state this year? I never like to pick anything for Lakeville South just because coaching for them, 1, I feel it's a conflict of interest and kind of unethical. 2, I don't want the bad mojo. I feel like that would be, like, what is it? Like Shannon Sharp being like, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5. And then, OKC, KFC, doesn't matter. Lakers in 5. Timberwolves 1. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, Cougars are going to go all the way. We're just going to win the state title. I'm not an arrogant coach. I'm not egotistical. I believe in the grind and putting in the work. If Lakeville South is going to win a state title, it's because we look at 1 game at a time and we bring the sauce. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know about just flat out saying Lakeville South's going to win it. There's going to be a lot of competition. Maple Grove and Minnetonka are going to be good. If Mason West comes back, Adina's going to be good. No, I don't think I'm going to get into acting. My a little bit too old for that, but I appreciate the shout out for that. EP, they have a bunch of coaching staff turnover. I have no clue what they're going to look like. I mean, the Maroon teams are going to be the Maroon teams. That pretty much is the only consistent thing. And Hopkins, Eastview, and Coon Rapids are all locked into 8 seeds. That's the only thing that's like concrete for right now. And that's just because they are the only teams that requested schedule relief in their specific sections. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. But halfway through the season thus far, Centennial's running the table 4-0. Lakeville South is running the table 4-0. White Bear Lake is currently the 1 seed out east. Maybe that'll change. They got 4 divisional games to still play. We'll see. We still have 2 undefeated teams in the West. You got Adina and Minnetonka standing strong, and they're going to clash week 7, but Adina has to meet Lakeville South before then. Minnetonka has to meet Eden Prairie before then. Maybe some things shake up. Poor STMA, man. They did not ask to get moved to the West, but here they are, and chat so far does not think they're going to hold up too well. And that's with Champlin, EP, and Wayzata. They still have to play Adina, Maple Grove, and Moorhead. I'm sure they'll pick up a win versus... Well, I don't know. Chat's been kind of high on Hopkins thus far, so we'll see. And then, how about Park Cottage Grove? Picking up 3 wins in a row. Stillwater, Forest Lake, and Hopkins. Like, okay, Park, already only halfway through the season. Who are the 1 seeds out of all 4 brackets? Oh, see, that's where it gets tough and why I kind of wanted chat to vote on it. It all depends. So, like, on this current trajectory, the way it looks is that the team out west, there's 2 undefeated teams, assuming either Adina or Minnetonka stays undefeated. They're probably going to be the 1 seed, and they're going to be the top overall seed. And since the teams in the East are struggling here, they're probably going to pick a bracket where these two end up on the same side. So going over to my state brackets, I would look at where is Section 4 and Section 6 on the same side. So like here, they're opposite. The ones like, so Mounds View or White, like currently White Bear, according to chat, would be there. And then Minnetonka, Adina would be here. So obviously they wouldn't pick that bracket. What is this? This is 4 and 3. So suppose Lakeville South went undefeated according to chat, and then Minnetonka or Adina picked each other off. Centennial maybe picked someone off and went undefeated. That bracket would be picked. Not that one. Not that one either. Yeah, see, this is where it gets kind of weird because there is no bracket where the winner of Section 4 matches up with the winner of Section 6. So I really don't know. That's where it gets interesting. But I mean, just looking at the teams, if I had to make way too early predictions, I'd say it's probably going to be either Lakeville South or Shakopee out of the South. I think Centennial, Blaine, maybe Andover or Champlin are all possibilities out of the North. That one's a little bit harder. If I had to pick one, probably lean towards Centennial. They were kind of reloading last year. Very well coached, very good defense. They always and they're coming off. They won state 2 years ago, so they've got plenty of experience. I could see them bringing the sauce. So Centennial, Lakeville South, or Shaco. My initial pick is Forest Lake. Mounds View's lost some athletes. Obviously, Stillwater's lost some players. They'll still have Emilio, and they'll probably do a lot of I formation. But without Nick Kinsey, how are you going to do all your play action passes off of the I formation or any of your bootlegs? I don't know if they're going to be able to do any of that. White Bear Lake, new offense, no idea. And then, speaking of no idea, Woodberry and Eastridge, I literally have no clue. We almost never see these teams. Like, I want to say that Woodberry, we've only played twice in our school's history, and we haven't played them since 2018. And then Eastridge, we've only played them twice as well. We played them in 2023 when they had Tanner Zolonsky his senior year. That was a tough game. Coach Fritzy always gets it done. He's an offensive mastermind. But I just don't know what their team's going to look like. We never play those teams all that often. I know Eastridge had that big upset over Lakeville's North last season. Sure, the Panthers were injured, but I don't know. But if I did have to pick one team, probably the one with the most returners out of Section 4 would be Forest Lake. So Forest Lake, Lakeville South or Shaco, Centennial, and then this is where it gets tough. I mean, EP is having turnover, so probably not them. Adina could make noise, but if Mason West ends up playing hockey, he does not play football, then I think they're out, and then it comes down to these three. Maple Grove's reloading. Moorhead's new to 6A. I think Minnetonka's probably, I guess, the favorite, or the way too early favorite to be the 1 seed. Just because they are returning Caleb Francois. They're going to have a great O-line. They're one of the biggest schools. They're extremely well coached between Coach Esch and Coach Lombardi on offense and defense, respectively. Yeah, Minnetonka's going to be dangerous. I think they're going to be probably the #1 overall team. Yeesh, but yeah, I just have no idea. I guess it all depends. So probably Minnetonka, Centennial, Lakeville South or Shakopee, and then Forest Lake. Those would be my 4 1 seeds out of each of the sections. And speaking of sections, so over here, it would have to go by this. So these teams would be ranked 1 through 8. These would be ranked 1 through 8, and then so on. And I think I have that on my state bracket down here. Be set to 100, please. There we go. Yeah. So as you can see, Section 3 would be all ranked. Rumors of Mason West quitting football. You know, it's always hard to say. Like on, you know what? Actually, we're going to hop on Instagram really fast. I want to say it was one of Skullhole's most oh, yeah, I'm getting notifications. Cool. I want to say it was one of Skullhole's most recent posts. We'll search for him. Skullhole, here he is. This guy's got some pretty funny stuff. I like it. And he's doing a good job with all this coaching stuff that he's posting. I like it. But he said, seems insane that nobody has mentioned Jet Feeney or Mason West, because he asked which quarterback's going to lead the state in passing yards. Well, I guess which 6A quarterback. Let me refresh that. And it's hard to say, because even though 6A has a ton of spread offenses, most of the teams like to run. Like, Anoka's one of the few, what was it? Rochester Mayo was like the only team in 6A that actually passed the ball more than they ran the ball last season. 1 out of 31 teams passed more than they ran. Even Farmington, pistol spread, 10 personnel, they were still a 50-50 split, run pass. Like, they like balance. That's wild to me. But yeah, it's just so hard to say. Because even teams like Adina, they're an RPO. If you just sit back in coverage and Mason reads that as your second level, like, D or B gap defender, whatever in your 3-4 defense, he doesn't throw the RPO because the pass key is staying back there. So it's always going to be a handoff, and they're going to run just probably GH counter. That's their big run play. But it's hard to say. But yeah, so what did all the replies say? Is this... Oh yeah, because Mason West might be going to juniors. Now, I don't know. Who is the Hockey Barn Co? Is this even a legitimate thing? Best sport... Yeah, I don't know. That's followed by AIO Minnesota. It's got almost 10,000 followers. Who knows? But, yeah. I mean, there have been rumors thrown around there. It's possible. But personally, I don't see it happening. I mean, sure, he's going to be an NHL first-round draft pick, but I don't see why he would skip his senior year of football to do that. That just seems kind of strange. You might as well just play one more year. It makes you a better athlete anyway to be a multi-sport athlete, so why bother quitting? Oh, but yeah. Yo, it's already almost 10 o'clock. And we're only halfway done. Maybe I'll have to pick this back up on Saturday. We'll start this early, do some of this, and then head into the Blaine Anoka game. Just because I do need to get to... I still have work tomorrow morning. I completely forgot. Today's only Thursday. It's not Friday. But yeah, and you know what? I guess I'd have to ask. When I was talking with... who is it? I've heard conflicting things. Like, a lot of hockey outlets seem to think Mason West is quitting football. Time for bed. Yeah, I guess it's getting close to bedtime, isn't it? Supposedly, like, hockey outlets are saying Mason West is quitting football, while Minnesota High School Football Network, who's been in touch with these guys, supposedly Mason West has told him he's still playing as of now. I guess we'll see. You know, there's still, it's only May. We've got a little under 4 months before football season officially kicks off in August. I guess we'll find out then. A lot of things can change over the summer depending on what he decides to do. So either way, we'll be prepared. Going down there, Lakeville South has to go at Adina, week 6. You bet I'll be ready for that. And if we do beat Adina, I will literally eat an entire cake live on stream. I will be so hyped. But yeah, I'm thinking we pick this back up on Saturday. Thank you all for tuning in. I thought Mason was going to Cal with his... Oh, wait, like... California for hockey or for football? For hockey? I have no idea if he's going to Cal. I know who was there, because didn't Myers Sweeney, the receiver, he went to... Did he go to Cal Berkeley or UCLA? I think it was Cal Berkeley, right? The Golden Bears. All good. Yeah, I could see him following him there. Adina maybe has a new pipeline going out there to California, Berkeley. Could be that, but who knows? I guess it all depends. I'm sure he's probably one of the best hockey players out there, but then again, maybe he's going to earn a ton of NIL money playing in college. We'll have to see. You know what? We're going back to Insta. I'm going to go peek at, because I don't think his Insta's private. Search Mason West. That's got to be him, right? Mason West has near perfect performance. Yep. I don't know if it mentions any of his football offers here. I think Randy Shaver talked about it. And I know that he had an interview with Minnesota High School Football Network. I want to say Miami of Ohio offered him. One of the Michigan school, not Michigan or Michigan State, but I think it was like Eastern or Central. One of those Michigan schools gave him an offer too. And maybe Northern Illinois. I think it was Mac schools. But yeah, which like shocked me that he was only getting that attention. Meanwhile, Nick Kinsey got an offer from Ole Miss. I'm like, hey, Lane Kiffin, he grew up in Bloomington, man, went to Jefferson. He has that Minnesota pipeline still open, so... Oh, but yeah, I'm thinking it's bedtime. We will come back to this probably Saturday. Top quarterbacks in 6A. Oh, well, that's an easy one. I guess Hayden Harney out of Maple Grove is a bit more of a question mark to me, because they're not like an aired out offense. They're more kind of like Lakeville North. They're a lot of bootleg, play action. They don't do just straight drop back passing all that often. But he did commit to South Dakota State. So the kid's an athlete. I just don't know about his throwing. Well, let me just go through the teams. Andover's quarterback is more of a runner. And they don't throw the ball downfield as much. Hard to say. Anoka's going to have a new quarterback. Blaine's going to have a new quarterback. Centennial quarterbacks are always good, but they're more so running quarterbacks because they have to be able to run the triple option flex bone. So it's more like, can I read a first level C gap defender on inside veer as opposed to can I read a defense and make a pass? Like I literally think the only 2 pass plays that Centennial has are what is it? They have waggle and they have veer pass, counter veer pass, and then post wheel. I literally think those are the only pass plays in their playbook. Otherwise, inside veer, outside veer, midline, buck sweep, and like that's all of, and jet sweep and belly. Like that is all of Centennial's playbook. I hate Tonka. Why the Minnetonka hate? That's another one I don't know what their quarterback's going to be. Their O-line's been working at training house on pass protection. They're going to start the junior at quarterback, move Caleb Francois to running back. They're going to have like a dual quarterback, running back type deal going on. Like that offense is going to be so tough to game plan against. All right, if we do meet Minnetonka as a Lakeville South coach, I'm hoping it'll have to be deeper in the season unless we choke and end up as a 3 seed again. You never know. That's the beauty of the 6A season. Obviously we don't pass the ball. I don't think any top quarterbacks are coming out of the South. Like Judah Forsberg is a stud, but again, he's a runner, triple option type offense, more of a scrambler. Prior Lake quarterbacks don't throw. Rosemount has a kid coming up, but he's only going to be a sophomore. Farmington also has a good sophomore quarterback, but Rosemount's shrinking their playbook. I don't know, because they run flex bone, they run I, they run power T, they run pistol spread. They just do way too much. So they're condensing their playbook this year, and I don't know which direction they're going to go in. So that's a question mark. Eagan, obviously, run-heavy team. They pass 3 times a game. Top quarterbacks not coming out of there, just like Shakopee and Centennial. Farmington with their gun single wing. I don't know how much they're going to pass. Hard to say. I think, what is it, Cedric Tomes out of Eastridge is supposed to be really good. Is it Caleb Johnson? Is he the quarterback at Forest Lake? Something. It's not obviously Howie Johnson's the DN, but it's another young man, last name Johnson, that's the quarterback there. He's a returning starter. He might be good. I think Mounds View is going to have a new quarterback. I don't think he's much of a runner, so they're probably not going to run GH, like quarterback GH counter at us. It's probably going to be a lot more like regular GH counter. Connor Johnson, that's it. Thank you, Connor Johnson. I knew it was something with a C. But yeah, he had some really nice throws. When I was breaking down the Prior Lake Forest Lake game from last year this past Saturday, he had some nutty play action throws. It's absolutely killer. I mean, that tight end pop pass off of the jet sweep dive fake, so beautiful. Like, and one of my favorite parts, like geeking out while watching that game, Coach Biscow is an incredible offensive play caller. Just like watch, especially when you contrast that with Prior Lake, who's like almost running like a caveman offense. It's like, just big kid, go push, fast kid, run behind big kid. And there's really like no flow. It's like, oh, just run buck sweep. Well, what do we have that sets up buck sweep or that looks like it? And just run buck sweep. Whereas Forest Lake is like, okay, we're going to call inside veer here. Then we're going to run midline off of it. Then we're going to do our play action. Then we're going to hit him with jet sweep dive. Then we're going to run tight end pop passes of play action off that. Like, and then they ran GH counter off their jet motions too. It was so beautifully set up and called. Like, huge credit to Coach Biscow. But yeah, I think Connor Johnson will be pretty solid. Stillwater, I have no idea. Nick Kinsey's gone. I have no clue who their quarterback's going to be. Apparently Woodberry was young last year. They'll be better this year, but I don't know. EP's not passing. And obviously the big ones, Maple Grove, Minnetonka, Adina, Moorhead. Moorhead especially. Jet Feeney. Like, no one in 6A really knows all that much about him because he was a 5A quarterback. He led the whole state in passing last year as the Moorhead quarterback. They didn't lose a game until their section final against Alexandria, who they beat earlier that year. And they still scored like 30 or 40 something points. As a matter of fact, let's go to Minnesota scores. This is where it's about to get crazy. So you're about to see like QRF and all that. and points for and against. If we go to, this is Class 5A, and it's got QRF points for and against. If we go down to Section 8 with Moorhead down here, they only lost that one game at the end, and that was to whoever it was. They averaged almost 50 points a game while giving up less than 20. Like, that is insane to me. And they were the 5th ranked team in the state in QRF. Alexandria was 3rd. Who were the top teams? Well, this is 5A. Armstrong, Owatonna, Alexandria, Elk River. Crazy. But, yeah. So, a lot of teams are going to be underestimating Moorhead. And if you look at their schedule, it's not like they have an easy. They start off with Rogers and Woodberry. Those are their 2 non-district games. Then they have to play 6 in a row against the Metro West. And they got 2 tough road games. At Minnetonka, at Adina. Well, all 3 of the section road games are tough. At Minnetonka, at Adina, at Eden Prairie. Oh. Like, STMA and Wyzetta coming to you, those are probably relatively speaking, easier. But that's still crazy. All right, you want to know something else that's crazy? Remember how I was talking about, like, Hopkins is locked in as an 8th seed? One of those 7 teams is going to be a 7th seed in the tournament because they're all in Section 6. It's like, hypothetically, say maybe Stillwater somehow, or Woodberry miraculously goes undefeated, Forest Lake falls to the 2 seed. There's a good chance that the 2-seeded Forest Lake could host, like, a 7th seed. How do you even grow a community so far that big? I have no idea, man. Maybe everyone from, what's this, at Fargo? That's across the border in North Dakota, right? Maybe everyone from Fargo just moves over to Moorhead. Maybe there's a booming industry or something out there. Who knows? I mean, especially, maybe it's the mascot. It's Spuddy. He's pulling everybody in. I gotta look that up. Moorhead, Spuddy. Yes, sir. Spuddy the potato. Oh, yeah. He's the reason the community grows. It's all about Spuddy. I mean, look at that. What a sick logo. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely think they're going to get it done. Because when you think about it, almost every defense they saw last year was a 3-4. And if you look at all the teams in 6A, almost all of them run 3-4s. Like 3-4, 3-4, 3-4. Centennial, all right. 4-4, 4-4. Where's Adina? 4-3, 4-3, 4-3. Then where's my buddies down here? 4-4, 4-4. And then Hopkins runs a 4-2 flex. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 teams. The other 26 all run 3-4 defenses in 6A. So, I mean, and if you look at who does Woodberry, who do they play? So 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4. The STMA just switched to a 3-4. They were a 4-3 prior to the 2024 season. And then Adina's a 4-3. So they literally get a 3-4 def, and that might be the one thing that throws them off, because they're so used to seeing 3-4 defenses. Is the Eagan right guard returning this year? He was a battering ram. You know, I don't know. Let's go look at their roster. Wildcats. Team stats, varsity, right? Coach of the Year of 2022, Nick Johnson. Yeah, but where is Wildcats? Football. We get rosters, please. Current season. And do they not have their rosters up here? I will actually cry. Maybe it's under Wildcats. There we are. They don't call it roster. They just call it Wildcat. Oh. It's just a picture. I have no idea. Maybe it's under Max Preps. You know what? I'm an idiot. Eagan Football MN roster. Maybe they actually have it updated. Let's see. It is 11 Brooklyn Evans, and he's a senior. Okay, so I think this is up to date. Who was their right guard? Wasn't he like... you know what? Let me go take a quick peek, actually. So, go into my library here, go check Eagan. Actually, no, I don't want to show the South game. We'll go into a scout. Eagan versus Adina. Wildcats get the ball first. Right guard is that 55? I think it's 55, yeah. Yep, 55. 55, Cole Will. No, that's Cole Will. He was a senior. He won the state in wrestling, didn't he? I want to say he did. Eagan Cole Will, wrestling. I'm pretty sure that he won heavyweight this year. Yep, first place at state. Cole Will, Eagan, he won the heavyweight title. So, no. Thankfully, Mr. Will not be back playing football. Alright, you want to know what's interesting now? What a dog? Yeah. So, I think I briefly touched on this on my very first stream when I was talking about, yeah, we'll go to the triple option here. So, when I was talking about flex bone offenses, this... Ooh, I got Waggle drawn up here. Stupid Shakopee Waggle. But one of the things that I was talking about is how traditional flex bone teams, which Eagan is, they always put their biggest kid as their center right there. Then the guard is a little bit smaller, but still a big kid. And then they have small offensive tackles. Like, it's the inverse of what a normal O-line is. Normally, you've got a decent stud at center, but you have small guards and giant tackle. Like, think of Prior Lake. Ethan Beckman at left tackle. 350 pounds, like 6'4", however tall he is. Absolute mammoth of a human being. Eagan would not put him at tackle. Eagan would put him at guard, because they want bigger kids at guard. And that's just because of their triple option stuff. Like, so... Suppose we have a hypothetical here. We'll delete some of these. I'll move the tight end in. Him out there. That's classic Eagan. Safety, safety. Corner out there. Safety there. Stacked balance formation. So this is classic Eagan. What they like to do, inside veer, they have an opening over here. So what they want to do is get a double team at the point of attack. So he'll release up to backer, because C-gap defender's the read key. He either has a bob block or an arc block. Receiver blocks there. And then double team at the point of attack. So the double team at the point of attack from the left guard and the center is what really makes this play get off. And see, this is where a lot of DCs in 6A kind of mess up with Shakopee, Eagan, and Centennial. They're like, oh, it's triple dive option. They use the word dive, and it completely warps their perception. Because where do you think a dive goes? You think Lakeville North? They're diving A-gap, like 21-22. That's what North calls it. 21-22, 31-32. That is not where Eagan, Shakopee, and Centennial dive. On inside veer, which is a bread and butter play for all three, the aiming point is actually the C gap out there. So how does he get there? Well, that's the whole thing. And I'll pull up some Shakopee film if you want to see a clip of that really fast. The running back does not run up A-gap, and I learned this from watching some of Coach Diggins's. He put a bunch of YouTube videos on his channel talking. It was like a youth football coaching, how to become a youth football coach for Centennial playlist. And he was talking about on inside veer, their fullback's aiming point is the outside butt cheek of the guard. So DCs think it's going to B or to A-gap. The running back's actual point is B gap. Play ends up going to C gap. It's like the most confusing thing, but that's because they veer block. He's crashing down hard to get there. He's double teaming up there. He's dry. Well, I can't move the center in this, but see what happens here? They're essentially just driving down so hard it builds a wall, and the fullback is running right off their butt there. So even though, yeah, it looks like a dive, he's still technically hitting C gap. And that's why so many DCs get messed up. They'll put like a 2 or a 2I or a 1 here, or even a nose guard. And then they don't understand why they can't stop the run up the middle. Well, that's because they're not running up the middle. They're intentionally walling you off right there and driving you to the side. They're veering you off to the side so that the dive can have a nice clean lane. And then the nice part about the triple option, they intentionally leave kids unblocked. You see, that's the pitch key. So classic Eagan will say they're running inside veer left. You've got orbit motion there. And then backside is kind of inconsequential. You can go hit a backer if you want. You can just cut block. you can either cut, you know what, we're going to have the tight end go hit a safety, go have fun. So what would happen is, and this is like classic Centennial Dalen Cummings, I'm talking about quarterbacks being runners, making reads. At the mesh right here, quarterback opens play side with play side foot, and then as they're reading, they take a step with their back foot, and he's just reading that first level C-gap defender. If this defender attacks the dive, then quarterback is keeping the ball and running it out towards the pitch key. So in the offensive terms, this is a read key, this is a pitch key. If the read key here either stays right there or he runs upfield, fullback is always going to get the ball. The only time quarterback will keep the ball is if he crashes inside. If he crashes inside, quarterback runs at the pitch key. Now, where does the pitch key come in? To the pitch man. If that pitch key goes outside to play the pitch, well, then Judah Forsberg keeps the ball and he's running for a touchdown. If that pitch key decides to attack the quarterback, then the quarterback pitches it out, and now you've got one-on-one blocking on your corner and your safety. Who's left to take the pitch man? And that's why their offense works so well, because I don't think a lot of teams sit down and understand how the triple options blocking scheme and read and pitch keys actually work. And if you don't know that, like we said, if you're just thinking, oh, they run up A gaps, I got to blow up the A gaps, double A gap blitz, you're never going to beat Shakopee, Eagan, or Centennial doing that. And we kind of learned that the hard way with Lakeville South. We lined up in a 4-4 against Centennial, and we played with a 1 and a 5 technique. Well, that is bread and butter inside veer right there. And Maverick Harper just killed us because our defensive end, we didn't coach our defensive end on how to read it because I wasn't helping with varsity at the time. The guys that we had didn't quite understand. Like, I think if I go in and I look at how all of Centennial's plays were labeled, like, I can go scout team last. It was the game against Prior Lake. I remember because I was looking at this one because I was comparing it. If you look at Centennial's offense, belly is a play they actually run, but that's not belly. So look closely. You can see what I mean when I'm talking about plays mislabeled. Watch who's left unblocked on this side of the line down here. So that was more of a midline because first level B gap defender was left unblocked. Watch very closely what the guard does here. See how that guard does not engage 96? He's crashing down on the nose guard. 96 is engaging him. 96 is unblocked. This is midline. What's happening? And you can see how Maverick Hart, or that's Dalen Cummings, is looking right at the read key. So instead of it being inside veer, first level C gap, this is midline. Same play, it's just you're reading first level B gap. Rules are the same though. If he stays there or runs upfield, then Maverick Harper gets the ball. If he attacks Maverick Harper, Dalen Cummings comes out here. And as you see, they've got 1-for-1 blocking. Now, that is Levi Eider out there, so he can probably, if there is anyone that can chase down Dalen Cummings, it'd be him. Yeah, 96 made a great play here. I'd say that's probably just a bad read. 96 was there for the dive. Quarterback should have kept, and there's a play right there. Of course, Levi Eider's going to come up and make a tackle, but you're still going to get 5 yards out of it. And then it's 2nd and 4. Oh, what's another one? Yeah, this is another mislabeled play. 36 power. This is not power. This is Centennial Buck Sweep is what this is called. And this is what Prior Lake stole from them that I was talking about in film from Saturday. Both guards pull around. See how they fake the dive? And then back gets it coming across. One guard does a kick out block. Other one's supposed to run upfield. Nah, that's not the best one. They have more of that in here. Yeah, there's another. Just look for all the plays mislabeled power. Here's another example of it. And see, it works so well because you follow the dive. If a team thinks, oh, they like to dive, plug up the A gaps. And as you saw, Prior Lake had a jam call on. They moved their defensive ends from 5s and 4s into 3 techniques in the guards, which if you're going to do that, run midline. You have a first level B gap defender. Easy. I know that Shakopee did that a ton against Prior Lake this past season, and we all know how that one ended. Sabres got it done. There's the nice kick out from one guard. Other guard came up. Oof. Got stuck, but it was there. Yeah, and there's slot wheel. Slot wheel. It's their favorite. Post from Josh Lee. Wheel from... I don't think that's Ty Bragoon. I think Ty Bragoon was number 2, right? But that's Josh Lee. There's another wheel route. Yeah. Centennial loves wheel routes, man, but hard to say. And see, that's the... Yeah, see, look at this. This is all called belly. I don't think a single one of these plays actually is belly. So here we go again. Who's left unblocked? This time it's a linebacker. What gap did he come through? He came through C gap. That is intentional. That is inside veer. Now you have your read key. What's he attacking? See how he ran upfield? This is a fantastic read by Dalen Cummings right here. If the read key runs upfield or stays where he's at, the dive gets the ball 100% of the time. Maverick Harper just chugs along behind the O-line, and that's a free 6-7 yard Centennial just by making the right read. Like that, and again, that linebacker and the coaching staff probably thought, oh, they want to run in that C gap? We're going to send a guy right into that C gap without understanding that, no, it's not that you need to send somebody there. They're reading the person there. You have to tell that first level C gap defender, hit the fullback right away. Don't play it in between two players. You do your job, hit the fullback, have the guy on the edge defend the quarterback, and then your DBs come up and take the pitch, man. Like, if every team just defended the triple option like that, I don't think Eagan, Shakopee, or Centennial would have a whole lot of success. Unless they're just bigger than everyone else and bully teams around. Like, Shakopee can do that. If you got Trey Boyd at right tackle, that's easy. Where's another power? Technically, buck sweep. So you see it's the same thing. Set up by the dive. They pull around. Kick out. Well, that's a nice one. There's Ty Burgoon running it. And see, this is how it's supposed to look. When you get the guard on the kick out. Boom. Beautiful kick out. I don't know why that... Is that the outside backer? Yeah. I don't know why he's going outside. He should be playing that much tighter. And then who has to make the tackle? Levi. Dude, I feel so bad for Levi Eider. Kid has to play safety. Kid has to play running back. I think in the Forest Lake game, there were 166 plays. He was on the field for 131 of them. Like that. Whew, I know he probably is a track kid in his condition, but that's a lot of running for anyone. That's a lot of football for anyone. Make sure to take care of your body, be lifting, have protein to recover, because you're going to get burned out. They did not run trap. They did. No, because did they actually trap somebody? They did. I don't believe it. Centennial has trap in their playbook. I never would have thought that. The belly has to be mislabeled, though. This is veer again, right? Yep. Oh, so here's another example. Linebacker comes through. Isn't that literally what I just drew up? There's your read key. There's your pitch key. And they're blitzing into it saying, oh, it's a run play. We got to do a run blitz. We got to take away the run. That you cannot think that way against flex bone triple option teams. Totally fine against like an I formation, like a Lakeville North or a Maple Grove, but if you have that philosophy against a Shaka, a Centennial, or an Eagan, you will not come out on top against them. It's just because you're playing right into their hand. They're saying, oh, you're going to do that. You're giving us a read. We're going to make the right decision every time because that's all we do are those few plays. And whistle was blown dead. What happened here? Something happened, but notice how he attacked the dive right away. Dalen Cummings would have pulled, and then outside backers waiting for him would have pitched. This is actually kind of well defended, because then there's a pitch key read right up there. Give Prior Lake some credit. Okay, here's another one that's probably a veer. Yep, so another inside veer. This time, actually, no. I am wrong. This is outside veer. So we talked about midline, inside veer. The third play, outside veer. Literally... same play, it's that triple option. The difference, midline, first level B gap defender is left unblocked, which we've seen. Inside veer, first level C gap defender, going between the tight end and the guard, or tight end and tackle. Outside veer, as you can imagine, D gap defender. So in order to have a D gap defender, you have to have a tight end, right? No tight end, no outside veer. Slot back doesn't count. So you get that tight end out there, and now watch. They're going to block Jade. Who's the only one left unblocked on the play side? The D-gap defender. Therefore, it's outside veer. And you can see, notice how Maverick Harper takes a little bit more of an outside angle there because it's outside veer. But again, it's literally the same play. Outside veer, where are Dalen Cummings' eyes? On that first level D-gap defender. He's forcing him to make a read. What did he do? See how he ran upfield? Who gets the ball? Maverick Harper gets the ball. And he just keeps chugging. And they marked him a little short, but I mean, that's a 4-yard gain. That's a free 4 yards just from your kid running upfield. And that's how they grind you down. Not only is that a 4-yard gain, that's another 40 seconds off the play clock and the game clock, because that's what Centennial does. They chew up the play clock as if it's a dog toy. They love to do that. So 13 belly keep. This cannot be the name of the play. Whatever it is, I'm assuming it's going to the right, because he just waved his arm to the right. Let's see. I was wrong. It went to the left. Okay, maybe he's got it backwards. So it goes to the left. Who's left unblocked? Take a peek. C-gap defender, right? Because there's no tight end up there. So what play is it? Inside veer. It is not 13 belly keep. Now, why is it a keep? What did they do? Tackled him. So what does Dalen Cummings do? Well, that's more of just kind of a blown-up play. I'll give Prior Lake some credit here. Was this supposed to be a midline? Who did they... Okay, that is my bad. Coach Lance is blind. This is a midline. This is not inside veer. Because who came unblocked first? B-gap defender. It's kind of weird that his eyes aren't on the B-gap defender. I guess they kind of are. What should have happened is he should have pulled right away. He's waiting there for the quarterback. He pitches. You have one-on-one blocking out here. Now it's a foot race. Can Levi Eider get over there to the sideline? That's what should have happened on that play. RB, I don't need to see a running back screen. Although, you know what? Actually, I do, because apparently that went for 32 yards. Oh my god. Maverick Harper screen. Ooh. That is a filthy play call. Well done. And obviously, you never expect that coming from Centennial. And once you get Centennial within the 10-yard line, they're scoring. You're not keeping Centennial out of the end zone, even if you are Prior Lake. Centennial, like, makes a living off of this. Down in their wing tee. So again, it's mislabeled as belly. They're running to the tight end side. Who's left unblocked? Outside man. So therefore, outside veer. And they just ran it up the middle with Maverick Harper. Why? What did the outside veer read do? He flew upfield. So it's going to be a dive. Dove into the end zone. That's literally all the triple option is. Inside veer, outside veer, midline. If you understand how those three work, you can beat those teams. Don't load the A gaps, load B, C, and D. Or not even that, don't load, you can't think about it like a gap scheme against them. Like if you're thinking of power teams or spread teams, you're like, oh, I gotta be gap sound, play gap sound defense. You gotta throw that out against the flexbone team. So what you need to do, well, at least how I hypothetically would, is you play head up on their linemen and you drive them back. If you take away the double team at the point of attack, all three of those plays are out the window because they don't get a good push. And if they can't get a good push, they can't veer block, forces fullback to bounce, ruins the mesh. It just creates all kinds of problems for them. And you stick to those rules. Players in the box, dive. Edge defenders, quarterback. DBs, pitchman. Stick to that, they gain no yards. Unless they bully you around, like I said. But, yeesh, it's a lot of... ton of plays in favor of Centennial. Wow. Hard to believe that game... Well, actually, this game did go to overtime, right? I think this was overtime down here. Because Prior Lake was held to a field goal. And then I want to say they got like a 9 or 10 yard run right here. Yeah. Marcus... And again, it's mislabeled as belly. This is not belly. If you want to see belly, I can show you... I don't know if I've seen any of the actual Centennial bellies, but I've definitely seen... Shakopee did it against Hopkins. I'll go pull out one of those next. So what actual belly is... Shaco... I think they ran it against Hopkins. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, there it is. Belly. Boom. This might be their backup kids, but it's still the same concept with belly. So with belly, we used to do this at Jefferson too. Spread teams like it. So what belly is, you have play side guard pull out and kick out, and then you get a down block double team. He down blocks as well. And that's what belly is. And so you see how it sets up the rocket toss. If you look closely, see how he spins that way, fakes the pitch, and then he hands off underneath going back around that way. And see, look, you can see the Hopkins kids were expecting toss. They came up expecting toss. It's a great, well-designed play, and it plays off of one of the plays they ran earlier. Because what was the first play of the game that Shakopee ran and scored off of? Down here. Rocket toss, first play of the game. And you can see how they set each other up. If we can actually get to the play, please. Come on, Shako. There we go. Motion. There's a fake dive, and there's the pitch out. Obviously, dive went the other way, but still same concept. So watching it again here. This time, now you fake outside. They expect the toss. There goes the belly underneath. And that's their seniors, their second platoon or third platoon of seniors playing. So they're getting it done down there. Good for, but that's what belly technically is. It was just mislabeled previous years. I don't know if I have any Eagan stuff labeled. Let me see. It would have been from last year. I think I got to label some of it correctly. Counter option. That's the big one that sets up buck sweep. So counter option is similar to a midline. If you look, they do the little half motion and then come on back. So it's meant to set up. You can't always go with the motion because then they have a play that comes back and hits the backside. The beauty of this, though, unblocked defenders. You don't need to block them. Why? Because those are your pitch and read keys. So at the mesh right here, probably should have been a dive. He's looking right at him and he's sitting there. When he sits there, you should be giving the dive. Instead, he keeps it. Adina defender makes a bad read. He gets the pitch because the pitch man attacks him. Decent block on the edge. And that was on 4th and 3. That's a 20-yard gain. First down, Eagan. Great counter option. Oh, counter option strong, counter option weak. I don't know if they call it strong or weak. I just labeled that because, like Shakopee, we saw a lot of balance stuff. Eagan is balanced, but they do wing slot. So they have a tight end this side, one receiver over there. So, like, here's another counter option weak. This time they're running it to the backside. Edge defender's unblocked. He's looking right there. You know, it's funny. That seems like they always give the pitch on counter option. Good block on the edge. I mean, that's a Rosemount defense they're running against. Rosemount's defense last year was still solid. So, yeah. Oh, now we're pushing 10:30. Now I think I'm actually going to end it here. So, yeah. Saturday, might start the stream a little earlier. I'm thinking we go through the rest of the picks. Talk about the rest of these teams. I think we still have weeks 4 through 8 to pick. And then we're going to go and we're going to seed all the teams based on chat's picks. And then once we do that, we're going to take those seedings, plug them in here into our wonderful section standings. And then we're going to plug it all into the state tournament brackets. And then we're going to randomly draw one of those 4 brackets. And then same thing as the regular season. Chat is going to vote on who makes it to the state championship game. I think it's going to be a blast. That will be this coming Saturday. What day is that this Saturday? That'll be Saturday, May 3rd. So Saturday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. We'll be right back here talking about potentially finishing up the rest of our schedule. And then film analysis, as requested, is going to be Blaine Anoka from last season. I want to say I've got that game already loaded up because we were scouting Anoka. Yeah, there it is. Week 3, Blaine Anoka. And none of the some of the pass plays are listed, but none of the run plays are for Anoka. And none of Blaine's stuff is listed yet. So that'll be a blast. Looking forward to it. And yeah, if you haven't, please subscribe already. Make sure to go follow the Instagram account at Coach Ryan Lance.